This is a special presentation from News Channel Nebraska.
The 2023 Nebraska High School Football Playoffs on News Channel Nebraska are presented by Currency, Allo, Midwest Bank, Obermiller Seamless, Woodhouse Auto, and by Liberty First Credit Union.
Good evening and welcome to Kearney for this presentation of high school sports on News Channel Nebraska. I'm Michael Shively, he's Andy Klassen, and we're getting ready for playoff football. It's the best time of year on the football calendar in the state of Nebraska. We have an exciting matchup coming your way. It's a Class A battle. It's number 4 Kearney and number 13 Grand Island. Temperatures dropping, but we expect a heated game, an intense contest.
Yes.
It's the playoffs. It's time to win or your season is over.
Right? Win or go home. That's where we're at now. And you can throw those records, those rankings out the window. This is Grand Island. This is Kearney. But Kearney's looked so good all season long. Only one blemish, and that's to Westside. I think pretty much everybody that played Westside might have that little L there by theirs. But other than that, Kearney has been clean. They've looked great, and they won a gutted-out performance last time these two teams met.
In Grand Island, they are 5-4. Those 4 losses come to teams with a combined total of 4 losses between those 4. That's a misleading record. This was a 3-point game earlier in the season, and they've split their last 4 contests, 2 wins each. We expect another competitive game.
It's going to be a very competitive game, and I'm glad you brought that up because not only did Grand Island lose to some really good teams, they're also dinged up. Last time we saw them play Kearney, they didn't have one of their best linebackers in the game. Now they're getting healthy. Now they're getting right. So look for another one of these slugfests between Kearney and Grand Island.
Oh, the wind has died down a little bit, but the temperature's only going to drop about 40 now. It's going to be 30 by the time we get to halftime, and I don't think either team is scared of that.
I don't think so at all, and it kind of lends into how both these teams like to operate their offenses. It's kind of spread it out, but they like to get you with the run. They want to establish the run. Whoever can do that the best, I feel has the best chance to win here tonight.
It's the Bearcats and the Islanders, a classic Central Nebraska rivalry. This time, the stakes are as high as they can get. We'll introduce your key players when we return to Foster Field.
The pregame show is sponsored by Custom Sports. Look great for every game with custom team or business apparel from Custom Sports.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Allo. You deserve the fiber things in life. Allo Fiber. And by News Channel Nebraska. Follow at NCN Sports for highlights, interviews, rankings, and our broadcast schedule.
Talking key players ahead of this Class A playoff battle. Grand Island at Kearney, starting with the visitors and the Islanders. Their offense runs through their senior quarterback, Bodie Albers.
He is so good, and he had a fantastic performance the last 2 times. These two teams squared up. He had 170 yards passing, 45 yards on the ground. So a true dual-threat quarterback. If you need a pass, if you need a run, he'll get it for you.
For Kearney, they have a stud playing 2 ways, and he was the player of the game last time these foes met up, Abel Molina.
Molina is one of those versatile backs, and he's a speedster. Look out for him. If he can get the edge, he can usually take it to the house. The play of the game, the difference of the game last time was a 35-yard pass off a swing pass out of the backfield. It was the play of the game. He got player of the game honors, and that was why.
Well, he threw a touchdown pass last time. Talking to him this week, I asked, do you have another touchdown pass in you? He said no, but hopefully I'll run for one on Friday. I did visit both practices. We've introduced that this is a serious rivalry, but don't just take my word for it. Take the players' word for it. Here's our conversations about what Kearney and Grand Island means to the athletes.
but obviously our coach don't really need to say anything to us. I think we all take it pretty personal. You got to think you can't wear purple at school because it's just like a hatred towards them, and yeah, I don't think many words need to be said. It's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. No one here likes Kearney. Everyone knows that. You know, ever since you're a little kid up in the stands, you go to the Kearney game and you watch, and there's usually a lot of emotion on the field, and just wait for it to be your turn, and now it's our turn, so pretty exciting.
You have too much pride and honor to lose the game. You want to win so much that you're out willing to work for your brothers. And it just means so much when you win that it's just all worth it in the end.
We get talking up in the line, and sometimes it's civil, but usually against Kearney we get pretty chippy in there. So
it means a lot more than people probably know. We always want to get the upper hand against them.
You got to get mean in there, especially with Kearney coming up. It's always a mean game, and we expect to just come in there and pop guys in the face.
And I was honestly hoping for Grand Island. Obviously, it's tough to beat a team twice, but I think it'll be pretty sweet, and obviously I was pretty happy about it, getting to play them at home, and it should be a good sellout.
It was either between them and Elkhorn South, and I was really hoping for Kearney again, because I think we have a really good shot at getting them.
A new year, a fresh start, a resolution to grow more, gain more, give more. The process is the same: plant, grow, harvest. But the way you do it is always evolving. And so are we, Aurora Cooperative. Grow, gain, give. Aurora and you.
Hey there, sports fans. Looking for a winning play to make your game day complete? Look no further than Speedy Mart, your family-owned neighborhood convenience store. Score big with the wide range of snacks, drinks, and fuel for the road that will keep the whole crew cheering. And here's the kicker. Our friendly atmosphere and convenient location make every visit a slam dunk. So rally the family and head to Speedy Mart for the ultimate game day experience.
That is literally the funniest thing ever.
And then I said,
It wasn't, but this guy could use a win. Even if it's not as big of a win as I get with free Kasasa Cash checking. Kasasa Cash pays me a really high rate and refunds ATM withdrawal fees nationwide. So I feel like a queen. Has a mega bank ever made you feel that way? Or was it more like this guy? Take back banking with Kasasa Cash.
Get Kasasa checking at Liberty First Credit Union.
Champions are crowned each year in Lincoln. All of us at Visit Lincoln welcome the athletes, families, and fans from across Nebraska to our community. When the final whistle blows and the game ends, make sure to discover how Lincoln can make your stay even more memorable. Stop by the Visitors Center at 7th and P in the Haymarket or visit us on the web at lincoln.org. Visit Lincoln is a proud supporter of high school athletics.
Coach Jeff Tomlin with Grand Island with me. Coach, you're back here. You're back in the playoffs again. You played Kearney once earlier. Didn't go your way. What needs to happen this time to flip that result?
Well, we need to play better. But, in all seriousness, we need to play better up front, offensive and defensive lines. We need to take care of the football and minimize our mistakes, and I think we'll be right in it then. Just no unforced errors.
And just 7 points offensively last time. What do you have working on offense that's going to get more points today?
Well, we hope to establish our running game, and that sets up the passing game. We'd like to have more balance than we did last time because we ended up relying on the pass maybe way too much. So we'd like to have some balance, but that remains to be seen how that's going to go, but that's our goal.
Kearney and Grand Island always comes down to the final drive, it feels like. What makes the difference in close competitive games?
Well, I think special teams make a difference, and then like I said before, taking care of the football, and then taking advantage of mistakes maybe that the opposition makes. it'll be a hard-hitting affair and two teams that play really hard.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
More pregame coming up on News Channel Nebraska.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Coach Brandon Kuhl with Kearney High with me. Coach, it's playoff week. It's also Grand Island week. There should be no shortage of motivation. What was it like getting ready?
Yeah, no, just normal week of practice for us. There's not a lot of motivation you have to do from a coaching perspective. These guys like to play Grand Island. I'm sure Grand Island loves to play us. So tough draw for both teams, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to win. So what a fantastic night to play high school football, and we're looking forward to it.
Just 10 points. It was in a win last time, but only 10 points. How do you get some more offense going?
Well, we left a lot of plays on the field. We had opportunities. We had a couple turnovers in there, and at the end of the day, we got to do a little bit better job of catching the football, and so we left a lot of plays on the field. We're going to have to play sharper tonight if we're going to win this game.
Well, a couple of recent first-round exits for the Bearcats.
Yeah.
Does that help motivate this group the whole season?
Every year's different. Once January 1st calendar flips, we look forward to the next season. So at the end of the day, what's happened in the past has happened in the past, and we're looking forward to tonight's game.
Is Grand Island the same team that you played earlier in the year?
You know what? They've had a tough schedule here the last 3 or 4 weeks. They had the easy one last week, but the last 3 games before that was tough competition. So they're in playoff mode. They've been through a couple playoff teams, and plus a high-level playoff team. So at the end of the day, they're probably well prepared for this football game.
I can't wait for kickoff. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you for your coverage.
It's Brandon Kuhl with Kearney High. Stick around. More pregame as we continue on News Channel Nebraska.
At Zollner Ford, come and see our great selection of new Ford vehicles. Whether you're looking to buy new or you need a car serviced, it's our pleasure to assist you. Our online website makes shopping even easier. Browse our massive inventory of vehicles or schedule your next maintenance appointment. We even offer drop-off and pickup services. Stop by today or visit us online at zollnerofbeatrice.com.
We're back here at Cope Stadium, Foster Field. Michael Shively, Andy Klassen as we get ready for kickoff in Class A playoff football. It's Kearney and Grand Island. Let's look at your school spotlight, which is brought to you by Currency. Does your business need financing for equipment, trucks, or trailers? All you need is Currency. Visit gocurrency.com. Home team right here in Buffalo County. About 35,000 folks here in Kearney. There's the enrollment. We're playing at the campus of the University of Nebraska at Kearney. The field at Kearney High School used for soccer, track, etc., but they play the football here at UNK.
Pretty sweet deal. They get to play on a stadium like this, on a stage like this, nearly every Friday night here in Kearney.
Not bad. Yes, they get the college football experience before actually getting to the Lobers. There's the visitors just to the east of here in Hall County. About a 50-minute drive to get to the north part of Grand Island and Grand Island Senior High. Beautiful new field there.
Oh, yeah.
Kearney High just played at that for the first time. They hadn't played a stadium that was built in 2019 and 2020 and just finally played there for the first time this year.
Yeah, and it was one of those epic showdowns as well where teams were going back and forth. A couple of turnovers here. Defenses were flying around with their hair on fire, and I expect to see more here tonight.
That's right. We're getting ready for kickoff here on News Channel Nebraska. Kearney High just took the field. They are 8-1 under the leadership of Brandon Kuhl. And this only loss for the Bearcats, that came against number 1 undefeated Westside, 56-0. They have played at this field since then, a victory to round out the season against Norfolk. There's a look at the starting lineups, and for Kearney, there's a name there, Sawyer Schilke. He is not starting today. Turns out he is unavailable, and that's a huge loss. He's regarded as their top defensive player.
He really is just a disruptor, and they'll line him up in so many different positions, and he somehow gets in the backfield to harass the quarterback, running back, whoever has the ball. Husker recruit at that.
Kearney Bearcats on offense. Griffin Novacek is the quarterback, a first-year starter. He's a junior.
more of a runner than a passer, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean he can't throw. You watch him, and you can see the athleticism oozing from that junior.
Yeah, he does so much for that offense, really makes them tick. And the offense is kind of designed with him in mind because they want to establish that run and that power rushing attack, and it all starts with him.
There's the Grand Island offense. Bodie Albers is the quarterback. He's our key player. The fullback is Justice Hostetler, who will undoubtedly make some plays today. But look out for that running back. He's just a 10th grader, Nelson Wheeler.
He had a fantastic game. It was really their bell cow. Last time what we covered these guys had 16 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown.
Not bad. Grand Island defense. They're going to run a 3-4. 4 linebackers out there, and Hostetler, he means business. And Bodie Albers, the quarterback, his brother is Jacob, who plays linebacker.
I just love watching the Jeff Tomlin defense. They line up in a 3-4, but that doesn't mean they're going to stay in that 3-4. They'll move 2 guys down, 1 guy down. Really keeps that offense guessing where the pressure's going to come from.
Grand Island gets the football first, and they'll stumble up near the 30-yard line. A good return for Hunter Handquist, a senior running back and safety for Grand Island. And out comes the Islanders' offense. This is your first quarter, which is presented by John Henry's. Brought to you by John Henry's, their family serving yours.
Previous matchup, Grand Island got off to a real fast start, scored the first touchdown, the only touchdown in the first half. They'd love to do that right here.
Starting off with the ground game. And a good push of the pile on first down by the Islanders. And a carry sets up second down and 5.
I believe that was Caleb Richardson, the 5'9 senior, moving the pile, as you mentioned, at the tail end of that run.
A no-huddle approach, getting split out. That's Richardson, who just had the carry, going to the left side. There's 3 receivers to the boundary, and another handoff and a good cutback into open space, switching hands with the football to get to the outside hand. That is Justice Hostetler, that 5'11", 210-pound senior fullback we mentioned, and a gash of a first down run.
Plus 200-pounder out there, and you saw he's got a little bit of wiggle to his game, right? Bounced that one outside after it got bottled up in the middle. Also broke a tackle, showing you that power.
Good 18-yard run to get that offense going for GI. Quick pass out to Hostetler, but he's immediately smacked and swung to the ground by Caleb Larson, a senior safety for the Bearcats. No gain on the play.
You always hear slow to read, quick to react. Well, Larson was quick on both fronts there. He was there like glue and delivered a hit right on time, too. No pass interference, waited for the ball to get to the receiver, then he laid the lick.
Albers all day to throw, finds Hostetler as the check down, and a strong open field tackle applied by Kearney.
Not only a good tackle in space, but the coverage down the field was on point. Bodie wanted to go downfield. He had to go through his progressions and get it out to the flat there right at the tail end. Good on him for doing that, but let's credit Kearney in the back end with that coverage.
Carson Baker made the tackle, setting up 3rd down and 8 on the opening drive of this Class A playoff football game. Split outside, it's Riley Holing. Look for him as a penalty flag flies. Incomplete, nearly intercepted. Baker was in the right place at the right time, but couldn't quite snare it on the deflection. The pass intended for Nelson Wheeler, the sophomore running back. We'll see the flag.
Bearcats are in their 4-man front, traditional defense. Was someone lined up in the neutral zone? I'm not sure.
It's an illegal formation on Grand Island, so that penalty declined. That makes it 4th down and 8, and likely a punt scenario at the 45-yard line.
Tonight's officials, Dan Bensinger, Gary Reynolds, Taylor Wyatt, Doug Wyatt, Joe Rinke will be our back judge. And this is Dan's crew. He's the white cap, the referee just got the call from.
A drive that goes 25 yards, but then stalls out for Grand Island. Albers does the punting. This one spins side to side and is fair caught at the 12-yard line. That's where Xander Ruling and the Kearney Bearcats offense will operate.
He does so much for this team, not only on offense, but special teams right there. That was tricky. He had to move over, an end-over-end kick, called for the fair catch, didn't allow that to get inside the 5 to 3 yard line and be downed. That was a good job by a return man going up and just making the play, making the fair catch.
Kearney, an offense that hasn't been slowed down much this season. The only real times against Bellevue West, Omaha West Side, and Grand Islands. Only 10 points last time they matched up, running a speed option to the wide side, and that's Eli Randolph. He was the top ball carrier the first time these foes matched up. They're at Grand Island Senior High. Gets the ball to the 19 for a gain of 6.
And look how Novacek forced the issue. That defensive end was trying to play in between them, play both sides like, no, you're going to pick one or the other. Otherwise, I'm going to gash you. So that was a good job by Novacek, forcing the issue, making a defender commit, freeing up his tailback.
Ryan Kostler, strong senior for this Grand Island bunch. That was his 51st tackle of the season. On 2nd and 3, Novacek gives to Randolph on the stretch. Randolph short of the line to gain. Good pursuit, led by Caden Robertson.
Boy, it really is. Once he put that left foot in the ground and got upfield, it looked like he had clear sailing to the first down. Credit all those defenders in purple helmets out there rallying up, making a play right at the line.
And an important 3rd down and 1 in the opening series for the Bearcats. Fresh off a 35-7 victory over a quality Norfolk team. Senior night here at Cope Stadium.
Shotgun formation.
6'2", junior quarterback wants to take it himself. Novacek stood up at the line. That was Hostetler that was there, but it looks like he has enough. Got a couple of yards and needed 1, and Novacek able to move the sticks.
Boy, he got just enough. You know, I like the call, Michael, sticking with your quarterback, your rushing quarterback. Trust him to pick up that yard, but, man, you put him in that shotgun, get him 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Grand Island likes to apply pressure and blitz a lot anyhow, so you knew a rush blitz was probably on. That's kind of tough. You know?
It is. You're trusting your offensive line in that scenario, and they got just enough to get the first down for the Bearcats. Novacek has carried the football more than any other player on the Bearcats squad. 66 carries in the stats that we have, which are just a little bit behind. The first passing attempt is behind the target along the left sideline. They were looking for Carter Lee, number 8 in blue and white, on first down.
Excellent break. And the pass was just, that half tick late getting there. As soon as he comes out of that break, that's when you want that ball to just be on him, on the numbers there, on his hands. He kind of had to wait for it, and, it drifted a little bit to the right. Novacek would probably like to have that one back.
Isaiah White on the coverage. This is a tough Grand Island defense. You look at those 4 losses. 2 of those losses, it was not on the defense. They only gave up 10 to Kearney and 18 to Omaha North. The defense has been on point most of this season. Elongated mesh point and a really athletic move by Abel Molina to spin forward and make that no gain instead of a tackle for loss.
Watch Albers play this one. Last time had to commit to the quarterback. That time strung it out with both of them so close and kept that leverage. Tried to get inside, but he already allowed for the pursuit to catch up to him. Well defended there on the edge by Jacob Albers.
He's the twin, not just the brother, but he's the twin of the quarterback, Bodie Albers. 6'3", 190. All alone in the pocket. Novacek steps up, 3rd and long. He's looking to run for it, and he's hitting the backfield. The Islanders push back the junior QB for Kearney.
There's that team defense. There's that team defense you were talking about. The coverage held up on the back end. The pass rush got there. Excellent job by feeling the pressure and moving up, but then the pursuit got home. Sack for the Islanders early on here, bringing up a 4th down.
Caden Roberson, the 6'4", 215-pound senior, got in there for that sack. Loss of a couple of yards on the play. Now here's the punt unit, and a good punt that's fair caught at the 45. So the Islanders playing the field position game, winning the field position game to start out this contest. And when you expect a tight battle and a defensive struggle, that's not a bad strategy.
Every yard matters. Both coaching staffs brought that up with you in your interview in the pregame, and we're seeing fantastic special teams thus far. I got to mention Riker Booth there, the up back. You know, he's supposed to be kind of your lead blocker there. Saw it was a short punt, called for the fair catch, saved a bunch of yardage there.
Starting at their own 45. Just almost 5 minutes into this ball game. And a handoff on first down. And it's a good run. They're giving the football to Caleb Richardson often to begin this contest.
And Grand Island plays such a balanced style of offense. They had them spread out so wide. I'm thinking, well, they're probably going to run it up the gut. You know, they're spreading the defense out here. They're going to try and punch them right up the middle. That's what they did. Think that the next time, swing pass. You can't load the box. You can't overplay hand on defense.
Pulling it out of the gut of Richardson, and Albers keeps it himself. He's hit hard at the line of scrimmage, able to fall forward for maybe a yard. Looks like he'll still need another yard to get a first down.
And we might see a flag at the top of the screen here come out late in the play.
Baker Bertrand
officials
with
talking
a tough
over.
tackle.
Yeah, this four-man front's pretty tough to move the ball against for the Bearcats.
It is worth noting Sawyer Schilke, we said this in the starting lineups, but he's a starting linebacker for this Bearcats group, one of the fiercest defensive players in Class A. There is no illegal formation. Everything was, or they did give the penalty flag there. No, didn't move the football. They are moving the sticks, though. So we got the necessary yardage.
So if you're a Grand Island fan, everything was looking good there. You get the first down, they pick up the flag. All right, we're going to stay in business here.
Into Bearcat territory where their previous drive ended. The football's loose. Richardson lost it. It's still on the ground. The Bearcats are in the area, but it's the Islanders who come away with it. That ball was on the turf for an eternity.
Oh, my goodness. I thought Kearney had that for sure.
Riley Halling fell on that football. So Richardson stripped. Look at that ball. Hang out. It's still loose.
How many blue jerseys were there?
Oh, and Abel Molina was right there for Kearney. He just couldn't secure it.
And that's a signature move for Grand Island, coming off a timeout or a first down, go with that quick snap and quick hitter style run like you're seeing here.
Wheeler gets past the first ankle tackle before running into a host of blue uniforms at the 29. That's a pickup of 3 on his first carry.
That's also another thing you tend to see, not just with Grand Island, but all football teams, high school, pee-wee, college. A back puts the ball on the turf. You usually see a different running back the next play.
Richardson was second on the team in carries, but just 250 yards on the season entering this game. And he was the primary ball carrier to begin the contest. Tough throw, executed. What a dart thrown by Albers. He finds Hostetler. That ball just beat the incoming hands of the defensive back.
I mean, Hostetler is one of their premier defenders, hard-nosed kid, leading the team in tackles, all those things. But look at these hands. It's cold out there. That's in traffic. And he's catching that one in a back pedal, trying to create space from the defender.
3 catches already for Hostetler. That one went for 9 yards. And a toss play. Richardson back in the game, feeling around for space. And crunched at the 18. He got 2 yards on first down.
Tell you what, you got to tip your cap there to the Bearcat defense. Once again, when that toss play started to develop and you saw that pulling guard coming free, you're thinking, oh boy, that's going to be a tough thing to handle there on the edge. But give the Bearcats credit for keeping, contain, and only allowing for a short gain.
Albers gives to Richardson, and it was like the Bearcats knew what was coming. They had 9 men in the box there, but it's still a good carry and twisting forward. Richardson nears the first down marker before he's brought down by Reese Bertrand.
And Hostetler was leading the way, the fullback who just made that really nice catch at the top of your screen on the sideline a couple plays before.
3rd down and 4. It's a 4-yard pickup for Richardson. What will the Islanders dial up here? On play action, another pass to Hostetler. Good blocking from the wide receivers. And Hostetler is pushed out inside the 5-yard line.
You said it, Riley Holing, one of their leading receiver last time these two teams squared up. But look at this block. Wasn't going to get flagged for the crackback. Got inside the numbers there and just enough to spring his buddy, number 35, Justice Hostetler, to the outside.
It was Holing with that block from the slot on the outside. Coben Bolton, a 6'1 junior, that helped seal the edge for that 8-yard gain. All 4 completions going to the fullback, Hostetler.
If you're a Nebraska football purist, that's just music to your ears, right?
Toss play, Wheeler bounces outside. Look at those wheels. Inside the 5, he got maybe a yard out of it after getting bounced back to the 9.
Not only the speed, you just mentioned it right there, but his wherewithal, understanding like, oh, I'm dead to rights. I got to put on a move here. Little shake and bake off the toss, get outside and threaten that end zone.
2nd down and goal. The ball is at the 2-yard line for the Grand Island offense.
And they've been going 3 wide here with 2 to the bottom of your screen quite often.
Stood up at the goal line. And short, Richardson could not plow his way to pay dirt.
And Bodie Albers, the quarterback, thought he broke the plane early on there.
Get a good look at it here.
Oh, he was close, I tell you what.
Ryan Meyer, who's back healthy now after being banged up for a few weeks. Meyer was leading that stop and helped deny Richardson. Now Albers goes under center for 3rd and goal. And the senior able to get the football across the goal line.
Dare I say, tush push there. I think we saw a running back come in late and kind of help move that pile across the line.
Well, when you have a big body like you do in Bodie Albers, 6'5", 180.
And that was Richardson at the end there that kind of helped.
Gave that extra. He's probably in to just get, you want to make sure. And it's the Islanders who strike first against their arch rival in Kearney's house.
You made an excellent point early on. They got the short field through the special teams defense, making a stop early on the previous drive, and they're able to capitalize with it and punch one in.
And the extra point good from Thatcher Panowitz, the junior place kicker, to make it 7-0. The Islanders in front of the Bearcats.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only dual Toyota Honda dealer. By Summit Real Estate, let Summit Real Estate help you score big. And by Central Platte Natural Resource District since 1972.
Fuel your journey by starting at a Speedy Mart store near you. From the small communities in Nebraska to the larger cities, the staff at Speedy Marts are ready to serve you with food, fuel, and rewards. Save 5 cents per gallon with the Fuel Your Journey fill-up plus additional bonus savings. Download the app for mobile pay, offering customers the highest quality branded food and treats, fresh, ready, and convenient. Check out SpeedyMart.com for locations and job opportunities.
Three minutes and 22 seconds remaining in quarter number 1 on your Currency scoreboard. Grand Island in front 7-0 thanks to a 55-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
They had a really good pace to that drive, Michael. They had a lot of success last game when they had to go in their 2-minute offense at the end of the first half, and whoa, here we go.
Xander Ruling breaks free, finally pushed down by Kaysen Larson. What a return for Xander Ruling, a guy that has game-breaking ability every time he touches the football, and the Bearcats have a good special teams response to the Grand Island touchdown.
Boy, that's exactly what you wanted to see. If you're a Kearney fan, Ruling going up the sideline there for a big return and a big answer, as you mentioned, setting up the offense with a short field of their own.
They'll begin at the 48. They started their first drive at the 12, managed 1 first down, then took a couple of steps backwards before punting. Griffin Novacek with the long blue socks, not quite tall enough to get up there to the pants. Knees are going to be cold at the end of the day. Toss play left side, and Abel Molina with a flag flying, able to dodge his way forward for a few yards before the penalty.
You know, I really like that play design there where you threaten with Novacek with the toss play always in mind there. That sucked a couple defenders in. It was just well defended on the edge. You had Isaiah Wyatt, only a sophomore, testing the young buck out there right on the corner, but give him some credit, staying strong, staying home.
Still waiting on a signal on this penalty marker. But the Bearcats are starting to walk back. It's a hold. So a 10-yard penalty from that spot, and it'll be first down again.
And that's one of the things you kind of deal with those slower developing kind of toss plays, and you're trying to get to the edge. That kind of opens the door for some hoping scenarios, and I would never know about that as far as personal experience playing tight end and things of that nature. So,
no, if you're on the line, you never commit a penalty.
Right.
That's the rules. And passing, bobbled and then dropped. A tough one out there for Zaire Legron, the 5'10", 170-pound junior. Had a little bit of room to work to try to get back to the original first down marker. Instead, it's second down and about 20.
I mean, the way Legron ran this route, he broke it off so quick, had a great cushion, and he knew that. Just took off before he secured the ball.
Really backed up here, the Bearcats. Novacek runs to the sideline, runs back on.
Yeah, they would have got that penalty yardage back and probably a little bit more had that been hauled in.
Legron is all alone on the right side still. They run the play his direction on the speed option. Novacek tucks. Signal caller winds to the 47. Gives 7 yards, and that means it's third down and about 13.
Good for 10 yards there. Novacek showing you how dangerous he can be. They overload the top of your screen, the left side, with 3 receivers. And that's only to win a numbers battle. Getting all those defenders off to their right, your left, when you know you're going to be utilizing your dual threat quarterback in an option style play to the right.
About 3rd and 11 now. To the left of the quarterback is Eli Randolph, the senior running back.
Look at the spacing between those receivers.
Novacek stepping up in the pocket. He wants to run for it. Has some daylight, and Griffin Novacek scampers for the first down and more inside the 40-yard line.
Once again, using the numbers game, sending everybody to the left. Multiple receivers, trips to the left. That first wave of defense doesn't get home. Guess who? Novacek's going to tuck it and run. Easy first down conversion there on a 3rd and long.
Yeah, even with sacks counting against you as a runner, Novacek running in excess of 330 yards through his first 7 games of the season. Here's Randolph, has a nice cutback lane, and Randolph up to the 31. That's a 7-yard pickup, and the offense is starting to figure things out on their second possessions. Grand Island scores, and now Kearney into Islanders territory.
Every time I see Eli Randolph, I'm always amazed by his vision. That was dead to rights where that play was designed to go. Sidesteps it, still has that punch and that pop, gets upfield, gets north and south in a hurry, bringing up a 2nd and short.
You don't see too many 6'3" running backs.
Yeah.
But Randolph is savvy from that position.
Maybe that's why he's got such good vision, you know?
He can see over everybody. Novacek makes some yards along the sideline, staying in bounds, and he gets to the 25. That's 6 on 2nd and 3.
You know, whether it's Novacek or Eli Randolph, the guy we just mentioned, they both run behind their pads. Great leverage, tough to tackle. And that kind of, it's kind of misleading because you think, okay, it's just another 5'9", 5'10" guy out there, right? No, that's a 6'1", 6'2" frame, big-bodied guy coming at you.
He got 3 steps once he got to the sideline there. When you're 6'5" and you take 3 steps, that's going to go a long ways. It equals a first down. 3 carries for 30 yards this drive for the quarterback Novacek. Slings it out to Randolph, and he's in trouble right away. Good open field tackle. Leading that stop, Isaiah Wyatt, that sophomore defensive back who's been active in the first quarter.
Yeah, Grand Island does such a good job on defense, stringing those type of plays out, keeping contained, keeping that outside shoulder free, and then allowing for the pursuit, your middle linebackers, your outside linebackers to fill in and make the play.
Just 2 yards, but perhaps a little confidence builder. That's the first completion for the Bearcats so far. They opt for 3 wideouts on 2nd and 8. And a tandem run finally pulled by Novacek. And he runs right into the Bearcat, or rather the Islanders, and Jacob Albers again.
Kind of a different looking design to that, but I'll tell you what, there was a lot going on there because Novacek had his eyes down the field the whole time, so that kept that secondary from rolling up. Those safeties wanted to come up and help out in run support. They couldn't do that because they knew they still had responsibilities with their receivers down the field. That's just another one of those cases where facing a guy like Griffin Novacek is just kind of unfair. You know, like that's just unfair.
His first year as starter, and through game experience, are you a first-year starter still when you get to the playoffs? You have a full season under your belt, and that's certainly added to his development. Timeout taken by Brandon Kuhl and the Kearney High Bearcats. 2nd and 4, make that 3rd down and 4 when we return to Kearney.
Get rewarded and earn interest for using your My Design Rewards checking account with Midwest Bank. I'm volleyball player Allie Badenhorst, and I get rewarded when I use my debit card grabbing a bite to eat or getting coffee before class. It's easy, simple, and smart. It's not about how much money I have in my account. I get rewarded just for using my debit card at all my favorite places. Find out more at MidwestBank.com. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
To sum up the past 20 years in one word, exceptional. It's one of our core values. But our people have been truly exceptional. Our customer support has been exceptional. In 20 years, where will Allo be? When we started, we were just a business fiber company. Then the demand came from residential. Now the products of both business and residential just continue to expand. We've got to start with customers' needs and always work backwards. The customers will tell us, and our teammates will take us there.
Not a timeout. It was the end of the first quarter. Ooh, drop. And again, it's LeGrone. Same type of route also, that quick little comeback route, peeled to the outside and just not able to secure the football early in this game.
Yeah, you feel bad for the young man. He doesn't drop the ball too often, but already has 2 early on here. And, yeah, the way he's able to break off those routes, that crisp route running, gives himself a lot of cushion there between him and the defender. Just you got to secure that catch before you start running upfield.
Jake Krotzel, junior kicker, from 35 yards out, gets a good leg into it, but it is not straight. A miss for the Bearcats kicker. And Kearney, with a solid drive, comes up empty on the scoreboard.
Oh, boy, and you heard head coach Brandon Kuhl. He was very candid with you in the pregame saying, look, last time we played these guys, we left a lot of plays, a lot of points out on the field. Are those thoughts starting to creep in if you're a Bearcat after you have a really nice-looking drive, kind of stall out, and then end with a missed field goal down in Grand Island territory?
Well, Krotzel, it's really a weapon for this team typically.
Yes.
He has only missed 2 extra points on the year and really has been effective. I went to their practice Thursday, saw him hit from 45.
Oh, wow.
But 35 was not able to connect from straight away, and Grand Island starts their possession with a handoff. And, extracurricular at the end of it, and the flag comes out. Ryan Meyer, after 4 Bearcats stood up Richardson, they kept pushing for a second too long.
Well, extra guys were trying to punch this ball out. I'm glad I wasn't the ball carrier here. Look at a whole host of Bearcats trying to.
That was that last yank, I think, that got him. And Reese Bertrand filled that hole terrifically. He was a defensive end, 6'2 junior. Then his buddies joined and kept ripping one too many times.
I really like the aggressive nature and how they're getting after each other, but you got to be able to stop at the whistle.
That's a personal foul penalty, so instead of 2nd down and 9, it's 1st and 10, and the ball moves up to the 36.
Yeah, and you just saw the Islander offense kind of find a rhythm. You don't need to help them out in a spot like this.
Second quarter action. Grand Island and Kearney. The classic Central Nebraska rivalry, and now it's in the playoffs. Albers throwing on play action. Oh, what a stick. Screaming in to send Richardson to the ground. The Bearcats defensive back. That was a menacing hit.
Yeah, and that was kind of a combination route. You had one going out, one coming in. Played beautifully. Was that
I believe it was
Bertrand?
Larson. Caleb Larson.
Larson again.
The 5'9" senior safety. Another play fake. Albers wants to go deep, and that came a little early.
Yep.
Oh, Larson just made the fine play, or actually Maddox Miller out there in coverage. Miller in coverage and a clean tackle before the ball arrives.
Tell you what, I've been there, Maddox, Mr. Miller, and when you're beat like this, you're better off just getting the 10-yard penalty rather than giving up the touchdown. So, I mean, you hate to see that if you're a Kearney fan, but hey, you would take that penalty rather than giving up maybe a score in a long, completion like that.
Yeah, so I believe that was the hold there, not pass interference. No, it's PI. They're moving 15 yards. So that's 3 penalties already against Kearney, totaling 40 yards.
And it just kind of felt these last couple of drives, Grand Island kind of has this defense on their heels, doesn't it? Mixing in the pass very well. That time challenging them on a vertical route that maybe caught them off guard.
That was Caleb Richardson, the intended target. He's been everywhere. Focal point of this offense. It's not that he hasn't been used before, but you think of Wheeler, who just got the carry, as maybe the primary back. And when you spread the football out, Hostetler out there.
Yeah.
Riley Halling leads the team in catches, but Caleb Richardson has really been the guy to begin this game.
Well, head coach Jeff Tomlin, he likes to get a lot of different players involved early in that offense, and whoever has the hot hand, he'll ride them. And he makes no bones about it. Doesn't overcoach it, as you kind of hear that term maybe a little too often, overcoaching.
Speed option on 2nd and 7. Toss to Richardson. He breaks a tackle, another penalty marker, and a first down if the play holds up for Grand Island.
Another hold. I think this one's coming back. Saw the
that was the initial signal.
Referee. Yep.
See if we can see it here. Didn't see it from that angle, but a penalty goes the way of the Bearcats. Relief for Coach Brandon Kuhl in his 23rd season leading Kearney High. Jeff Tomlin, 21 seasons at Grand Island Senior High. These are veteran coaches, and boy, do they respect each other.
They really do, and it's a joy to call these games, to be a part of these broadcasts, because you really do see a little bit of a game within the game, kind of a chess match between the two, and you can kind of read their minds every once in a while when they get the other one, like, I got you that time. I got you that one. You're going to hear about that at the coaches clinic over the summer.
They spend the whole offseason trying to figure out a play or two that they can get by their friend and rival from down Highway 30. Oh, and everybody moving early ahead of 2nd down and 16, 2nd and 17. And it's a false start.
Well, we saw a penalty and a drop ball kind of affect or impact the Kearney offensive drive, and it looks like the same's happening here to Grand Island. They're going to follow up a penalty with another penalty.
2nd down and 22. And a long stare to the sideline for the Islanders.
This really allows for this cover 3 where you have 3 safeties over the top to play a little bit looser and keep everything in front of them.
Albers wants to go to the left, now comes back over the middle. It's caught by Halling, and a big gain to get a big chunk of that penalty yardage back.
And I can just hear Kearney fans saying at home, well, not that loose. Don't play that loose on the back end. Great route, though, running across the middle on that post.
That's an 18-yard pickup. First completion to somebody besides Hostetler, and it's 3rd down and 4.
Didn't pick up the first down, but made it into a very manageable 3rd and 4 here after the big completion.
Lots of options in the playbook for Grand Island against a 3-man defensive front. And there's a flag. Well, the opposite of what Coach Tomlin wanted.
I think they might give Tomlin a timeout here.
Okay, they gave him the time. The same official that threw the penalty flag gave him the timeout. So we'll catch our breath with Grand Island. They have 3rd down and 4 from the Bearcat 38 when we return.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman, I love it. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sauter Heyman.
We're definitely coming back. Sure.
We have a wedding band to buy. So.
We do, yes. The wedding bands. We'll be back for that.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, downtown 12th and O, South Point Pavilions, and Grand Island.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Fourth down and 1 after a 3-yard carry for Nelson Wheeler out of the Grand Island timeout. Then Bodie Albers hustles to the line of scrimmage, backs off. Enormous play in the first half of this ball game, decided by just 7 points so far. Albers scored on a quarterback sneak, and he moves the pile in a quarterback sneak. Somehow he's busting through. He's carrying the whole Bearcats roster on his back. And Bodie Albers able to shove his way to the 25-yard line, picking up 10 on 4th and 1.
Oh, man, I was nervous for the Kearney defense here. So many guys were trying to get involved and punch the ball out. Nobody remembered to make the tackle.
Get the legs.
Oh, boy.
Well, he is a big fella there at quarterback. 6'5", 180, senior. Says he grew up going to Kearney versus Grand Island, sitting in the Grand Island fan section and seeing the emotion the players played with on the field, waiting for his turn, and it is his turn right now for Grand Island. About 3 yards for Wheeler.
Tough run. Boy, he met with a collision at the end of that one. He's going to be feeling it here. But yeah, that was a pretty good package you put together with both teams kind of saying, you know what, it is what it is.
You got both quarterbacks saying that same thing when describing this rivalry. 2nd down and 7. Justice Hostetler, the fullback, sidesteps one tackler. And that pile, when they get stacked up, it's the team in white and purple that's getting the extra yardage.
Really is, and you're seeing those offensive linemen stay involved and staying in there and churning out, moving their legs. And, yeah, those extra yards, they start to add up.
Just 2 yards on the gain, but a yard or 2 of that was from the push.
And well after contact.
3rd down and 5. Albers, plays called dead. Offensive penalty.
Illegal procedure. Somebody moved again up front.
3rd and 5 becomes 3rd down and 10. That's 3 penalties this possession for the Islanders. So a drive that started at their own 21. They already have to go 79 yards, but if they score, they will have gone 99 after the penalties. 20 penalty yards against Grand Island Senior High.
That is some pretty good quick math.
Well, thank you
very
much. That's why they put me in the booth.
On that calculator. No, you don't have it. I'm just kidding.
Wheeler in motion. Albers thought about tucking it. Now he's still looking, still creating, lobbing, and off of the fingertips. Trying to create along the hash mark was Coben Bolton. Instead, it's 4th down and 10.
Give Keegan Hunt, number 20, right in the middle of your screen there, a lot of credit. He had a lot of responsibilities on his plate. Outside flat, but he also had quarterback contain, and you could tell Bodie's was trying to test him there. Are you going to commit? Are you going to go? He did a great job really stringing that one out, not allowing Albers to kind of make a read on him and break contain and get outside and run for that 1st down.
Kearney declines an offensive penalty. It's 4th down and 10. Ball is at the 24, and a late decision to spend out some special teams. There's still 15 seconds on the play clock, though.
Albers is your holder. That's something to look out for. Quarterback staying in on special teams.
Field goal attempt for Thatcher Hanowitz. And another flag. He does get a practice attempt from 41 that falls short.
Interesting call here. Were they not set? Is that what we're looking at?
They wave off the flag. That's happened a couple times, and it works to Grand Island's benefit. They got a practice kick out of it.
And if I heard that right, there was a question if there's too many men on the field, and they waved it off.
A 41-yard try. He's 2 for 3 on the year and has hit from 43. The 41-yarder. This one has more distance to it, and it's through the uprights. Thatcher Panowitz makes it 10-zip Grand Island.
Oh, my goodness. So the penalty that's waved off comes into play, gives Grand Island another crack at it, and it is true through the uprights to take the 10-point lead.
There's 6:49 left in the first half on your Aurora Cooperative scoreboard.
It's Ram Power Days at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Tackle your next job with ease and shop the full lineup of Ram trucks today. Like the dependable and efficient 2023 Ram 1500 and get 20% off MSRP. Shop our 2 convenient locations in Bellevue or Blair or online anytime. Bringing you more power, capability, and savings. This is Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Thatcher Panowitz gets to kick off after he gets to flex to his student section. Grand Island fired up. He put all of his leg into that 41-yarder. The wind's not going to be a huge factor in it. It's more of a crosswind from left to right, blowing towards us in the press box. He navigated that breeze well, and on a cold evening, sank that 3rd field goal of the season. Return opportunity. Xander Ruling had a big one earlier. Carrying the ball a little bit outside there on the return is Legrone.
See how he set up that little alley there for the return, the extra yardage. Kind of made the defense think that he was going to try and get sidelined, stuck that left foot in the ground, got vertical with it, picked up another 8, maybe 9 yards. That's that vision that you love to see from a return man.
That was actually Carter Lee with that return. And out comes the Bearcats offense. They missed a field goal last possession. Grand Island struck first earlier this season. They were ahead 7-0. The Bearcats scored 10 unanswered to win by 3. But now they find themselves down by 2 scores, and that pass is low from Novacek. It's 2nd and 10.
And I don't mind passing on first down and trying to come with a little comeback there. Just kind of a misfire for Novacek, skipping one in there.
47 of 81 through the first 7 games. That's a 58% completion percentage for 622 yards. That's really good numbers for your first 7 games as a starter, especially when you toss in 622 yards and 5 touchdowns compared to just 1 pick.
You know, and playing teams like Grand Island and West Side, those aren't always kind to your numbers. Yeah, Bellevue West.
Novacek fakes the toss. He has Lee. Carter Lee wide open, makes the catch at the 40, and he's off to the races. Carter Lee all the way home. Touchdown, Kearney.
Love it. Going right back to Novacek. Fakes the toss. Everybody bid on it, and you had to commit because they ran it so many times with some success earlier. Perfect time picking that play and picking this defensive part.
72 yards, the longest offensive play of the season for Kearney High, and they're right back in it.
Just perfect call at the perfect time there and set up so well by the rushing success they had earlier with that toss play.
Oh, he sold that toss for so long. You do 1, 2, 3 Mississippi, and then he finally pulls that football back, and Lee is running wide open down the seam. The extra point is good. Only 3 points separate these bitter rivals on a bitterly cold night in central Nebraska.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Currency. Visit gocurrency.com for details. By U-Save Pharmacy, dedicated to the well-being of all our customers. And by Zellner Ford Lincoln, proud to be your local Ford and Lincoln dealer.
It's the season. The excitement of going to sporting events, sitting in the bleachers, rooting for the neighbor kid that mowed your lawn, delivered papers, or played a few pranks in the neighborhood. The first stop, of course, though, is your local Speedy Mart convenience store. Fuel for the journey. Speedy Mart, your area store with Nebraska roots and community ties. No matter if it's a win or a loss, Speedy Mart can make you feel better before or after the game.
Omaha North leads Gretna 7-0, 14-12 the score. Bellevue West in front of Papillion La Vista, some other Class A scores. Contest we're watching on the Currency scoreboard, 10-7, equaling the amount of scoring we saw earlier this year. Grand Island will get the football to try to grow that.
You know, I want to go back to that last big play there, that touchdown pass from Novacek. He skipped one in there on first down, right? You think, okay, for sure they're going to come back with the run because he was off the mark. I love the confidence the offensive coaching staff of the Bearcats have in the young man and allowing him another pass play with a little razzle-dazzle added in there, the composure he showed there, and the way he was able to sell that fake and put a dime in over the top for that touchdown score.
You know, sometimes those wide open passes are some of the hardest.
Right.
Because your heart jumps out of your chest thinking, oh, this could be the one, this could be the big play, but well done by both the passer and the receiver. Novacek to Lee for 72. And on first down, it's Wheeler for 3, maybe 4 yards.
Yeah, a receiver like Lee with the speed that he has, you don't want to give him a half a step, let alone 3 or 4.
That's now 6 carries for Nelson Wheeler. 3 yards for every carry except for one, where he's got just 1 yard. Still waiting for the big play from Wheeler. Albers tucks. He's running. A flag comes out. It could be coming back as the senior is fired up, moving into Bearcat territory. Coach Kuhl has whipped off his headset. He's slinging around his play sheet and screaming on the Kearney High sideline.
He is fired up. I think he's going to get a call here. Probably looking for a hold.
Oh, yeah, there
you go.
That one was clear.
Yep.
That's Coben Bolton, the wide receiver, who had a really nice seal block on the outside earlier in this game, but that's a 10-yard penalty there.
Yeah, and just in case umpire Gary Arnold might have missed that call, head coach Kuhl is going to make sure he saw it.
You cannot doubt what this one means to anybody involved. Coaches, players, fans, alumni. You got a great visiting section across the way. The view that you're seeing from our top cameras of the Grand Island fans sitting on the ice-cold metal bleachers. On our press box side, a mostly full section as well of the Kearney faithful. Given the weather, a tip of the cap to everybody who came out to support their squads in the postseason. On 2nd and 14, just 3 yards available for Nelson Wheeler.
Yeah, big fellows up front, collapse that one in. Right in the middle of it there was number 64, Nick Bilancini?
Bilancini,
I like that.
3rd down and 11. Kearney student section making noise. Nobody in the backfield with Albers. Pressure comes, it's a screen, and slipping one tackle but not having any space.
The ball come out late.
I think he held on.
Just an extra surge.
That was hauling.
Oh.
Hauling for no gain. And Xander Ruling made the stop.
Ruling just holding on, allowing the rest of his defense to converge and help make the tackle.
After 3 really solid offensive drives, Grand Island goes backwards. They lost a yard, and the punt unit is out.
It was the penalties. Penalties once again kind of shut down their drive.
Albers, this one's a skyscraper, and it's angled. What a terrific punt. Still rolling inside the 25-yard line.
And gets the friendly bounce.
All the way to the 23. That's a 51-yard boot.
That'll flip the field for you in a hurry.
Yeah. Our defense shows a handshake to Bodie Albers. Nice kick.
And that's something you see a lot of from Grand Island. They keep their quarterback in there, and a lot of times they'll use him as a kind of a rollout in that bootleg style where he'll have that option to either tuck it and run or just kick it in those 4th and 5, 4th and 7 scenarios. But with a guy like Albers, my goodness, if he can boom a 50-yarder for you in the traditional manner, all the better.
Oh, some more markers on the field. And both coaches going to have some teaching moments
right
at halftime.
Yeah, we've probably seen a little too much laundry here in this first half. Oh, that was the center. The center was the guy that saw the frustration there.
Kenny Quinteros.
Everybody held true except for the guy with the ball.
First down and 15 from their own 17-yard line. That's the 4th penalty on Kearney High. Novacek tosses, surveying, breaking free, and a solid run on first down for Eli Randolph. He gets nearly all the yardage he needs, 14.
And Ruling had a really nice block on the edge and didn't commit a holding penalty either. Just a fantastic job of operating the option offense. Once again, I think if there's some true Nebraska Cornhusker fans out there, they love seeing this style of football.
After huddling, 2nd and 1. Stuffed. And the Kearney fans letting them know they think Ryan Kostler and company maybe held on to Eli Randolph a little too long there, similar to the penalty we saw earlier against the Bearcats defense. Randolph did get the 1 yard before he was stacked up, and it's a first down.
Yeah, Grand Island, they stay in that 3-man front, but they'll slip an extra defender down, whether that be an outside linebacker or one of the inside linebackers, giving them an extra guy on the line. And that's what you saw right there, just a little bit extra run support up front.
Well, we have quite a few highlights already. We're excited to show those to you at halftime. It'll be brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Sartor Heyman will make your jewelry dreams come true. With the football now is Novacek, and the quarterback scampers out of bounds after picking up 4 yards on a first down carry.
And there's that speed you're seeing from Novacek there. Griffin did a great job of threatening the middle of the field, faking it inside, then being able to bounce it out, get the edge, and pick up some really good yardage, 5 yards, as you mentioned, on first down.
When you think of the Kearney rushing attack, Abel Molina, one of the first names that comes to mind, more than 400 yards rushing, but it's been Eli Randolph. He had over 100 yards the first time these teams matched up, and he's been the bell cow so far when it hasn't been the quarterback. Randolph is the guy they like the matchup with.
Oh, that might
be a late hit there. No penalty flag. Cedric Sullivan, a linebacker, made that play right along the sideline.
I'm totally neutral in this game. And, yeah, that wasn't a late hit. It was right there on the sideline. That right foot might have been in. But I was just happy to see Zaire Lagrone reel that one in.
Absolutely.
He had 2 tough drops, and then he was able to gather himself and come back and secure the catch there.
That one for 10. Third completion for Novacek, following up that 72-yard touchdown toss to Carter Lee. Here he takes what the defense will give him, and that's about 4.
And that was 100% QB run the entire way. There was no option. There was no run pass, RPO. There was no tailback to maybe pitch it to. That was all Griffin Novacek.
Score at halftime, Kearney Catholic 24, Battle Creek 7, for those interested in what's happening down the road here in Kearney. 2nd down and 5. It's a speed option, slow developing again. Novacek makes a decision, and he dives forward, gets to the 46, just a couple of yards, 3rd down and 3.
What they call an oxymoron, a speed option, slow
right.
developing, slow developing speed option.
I'll call it a patient option from here on out. That clock starting to wind here on your Tom Dinsdale scoreboard. Final Couple of minutes and change in the first half. I'm sure Coach Cool of Kearney High wouldn't mind salting that whole clock away. Oh, a halfback pass. Abel Molina locks, loads, throws, double coverage, picked off, and a flag comes in. Grand Island has the football to the 32-yard line. An interception for Hunter Handquist, pending the penalty flag.
Could be a pass interference. What are we going to get here?
I don't know if we'll see it here from this back view, but did not look like he wanted to throw that initially. Realized it was double coverage and then decided to chuck it up. And it is a 15-yard pass interference penalty against Grand Island.
Wyatt was tied up with the receiver there. You saw he had both arms on him and held on for just that split section. You saw a little bit of the jersey or his sleeve get pulled away from the receiver. That's what caused the flag to fly. Oh, what a break for
pivotal
Kearney.
Penalty there.
Yeah.
You know, would the receiver have been able to fight back and make a play on that football? I don't know. Handquist had excellent position, but that penalty means it's first down and 10 for Kearney at the 31 of Grand Island, and that clock twisting under 2 minutes to play. Molina busting it outside. Gets a few.
Well, and that's how that bracketed coverage is supposed to work. You know, you got your corner tied up with his receiver, you know, out one-on-one, but then you have support and help over the top. Safety coming over to make that play. Grand Island got the break, you know, a ball that probably shouldn't have been thrown or challenged down the sideline there, but the pass interference negates all of it.
That was the play that broke the game open earlier this season. Abel Molina.
Yeah.
On the halfback pass, and it connected. Grand Island was ready for it this time.
You're exactly right. They've watched some film leading up to this one.
Novacek, sidearm, a little flip toss. Looked like Heinrich Harburg in the pocket.
Kearney reference.
Certainly, the Kearney Catholic product, but the Kearney High here and a completion to Xander Ruling for 6 yards.
Going to bring up a 3rd and short, but that was a nice arm adjustment there. It looked like a shortstop out there, kind of side arm one around the defense there to get around the edge.
And we haven't made the baseball reference yet, but congratulations to the quarterback for Kearney High. Griffin Novacek committing to play baseball at the University of Central Florida this week. And now he's watching Abel Molina as Molina breaks free from the Islanders' defense and scores a 22-yard touchdown run for the Bearcats, and the lead swings Kearney High's way.
And you see the power that he utilizes with that speed, the vision, but breaking this tackle right here is what makes the difference, able to get into the end zone. You could just tell he was not going to be denied. And I also really like the coaching staff allowing Molina to kind of amend for that nearly interception, going right back to him. Whoa, boy.
And a blocked point after a spike of the holder.
The tee.
The tee, yes, the kicking tee. Jake Krotzel having a difficult first half. Missed a field goal. This one blocked, but the Bearcats still celebrating. Abel Molina breaks free, breaks the tackle, and goes in for 6. Bearcats by 3.
John Henry's is now offering electrical service. Our service professionals have been helping with plumbing, heating, and cooling in Lincoln and the surrounding areas for more than 25 years. Now, we're proud to offer the same level of professionalism in our new electrical service. From a whole home rewire to adding new outlets or electric car chargers, John Henry's can be your one-stop shop for all your home's needs. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical. Our family serving yours since 1996.
Life is a wild ride. It's important to have a trusted partner along the way. Liberty First Credit Union exists to provide its members with affordable financial services. Whether it is a large purchase, a new car or home remodel, overcoming obstacles, or chasing your dreams. Financing life is what we do best. Give us a call or visit libertyfirstcu.com.
Return for Grand Island. After seeing their lead evaporate, Hunter Handquist brings the ball out to the 27-yard line, but every point critical.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games between these foes, the games have been decided by a combined total of 14 points. So things like a missed extra point, only the third of the season by Jake Krotzel, it could end up looming large later on.
Loom very large, and a lot of times that's just coach speak, right? Like every point matters. No, it really does between the Bearcats and the Islanders, and you got the stats to prove that going back 4 or 5 seasons.
A field goal away from tying it up, 1:42 and 2 timeouts. Plenty of time for the Islanders. Albers runs with the football, and he's brought down. A good tackle along the waist by Kearney's Keegan Hunt.
Keegan Hunt, once again, doing a fabulous job just staying home, taking care of his responsibility and not letting Albers spring a big one there through the quarterback run.
Looked right, now looking left, and a late decision to throw. Good job adjusting, and the completion to Jacob Albers. The Twins get a big one down the left sideline to the 35-yard line.
And Jacob did a fabulous job going back to the ball, helping his quarterback, his twin brother, out there. But by coming back to the ball, it gave him momentum heading to the sideline and actually worked getting behind a defender. Big play for the Islanders here.
Oh, and he laid a shoulder on that tackle against Caleb Larson after breaking free from the tackle of Carson Baker. That's a 33-yard gain, but it's erased the next play. An INT for the Bearcats defense.
Is that Bertrand? Reese Bertrand?
It's Reese Bertrand, the 6'2 junior.
Little flex there, fired up. Did a great job staying underneath that route, being in position the entire time. I don't know if Albers just didn't see him or thought he could sneak one by him, but it wasn't the case. Big turnover for the Kearney Bearcat defense.
And you're thinking, plenty of time for the Islanders. And now you have 3 timeouts if you're Kearney High, 1:06 to work with, and the football looking to expand your lead.
And it's been the big plays here in the second quarter that have really helped Kearney's offense out here. Let's see if they have one more in them.
And nothing really going there. For Bodie Albers, just his 4th interception thrown on the season.
And that's really where their offense is at their best, when they're playing with pace like that. Snap, snap, snap. But you can't rush it. You can't force a throw in like that.
Timeout taken by the Bearcats. We'll take a quick one, too. A 3-point cushion for Kearney High. Reese Bertrand, with one of the biggest plays of his high school football career, steps in front of that for his first interception of his junior season. He had recovered a fumble earlier, but reason to celebrate for Kearney High. They stop that Grand Island drive and give the football to the offense. Still a couple of timeouts to work with. Michael Shively, Andy Klassen with you. Cobe Stadium on the campus of UNK. Griffin Novacek wants it all, and it's incomplete. Well, Isaiah Wyatt had more of a chance at that football than the Kearney wide receiver. It's incomplete, 3rd down and 10.
Wyatt's only a sophomore, but look at the way that he tracks this football. Actually, high points it in stride. Yeah, and you kind of had a role reversal there where number 8, Carter Lee, turned into the defender.
Pretty good ball by Novacek, but just excellent coverage. They wanted Lee for another big one after a hit for a 72-yarder and a score.
Yeah, and Wyatt able to keep, the space there with the receiver as he was running that in route.
Novacek needs 9 yards for a first down. Thought about pitching it at the last second and hit from behind. Again, that's Caden Roberson coming in to help with that stop. And the Bearcats are short. They got 7 yards. It's 4th down and 2, and it's Grand Island who takes the timeout to stop the clock with 30 seconds to go. And if you're Coach Cool, you're up 3. You've got to punt here, right?
I don't know.
You don't know. You never know. It's right. It's playoff football, baby. This is when you have your 2-yard play, it's a 2-point conversion play. This might be the time to dial that up and and keep things trucking here in the second quarter?
Yeah, I don't want to allow for a big play through special teams here on a punt return. And maybe I'd rather, roll the dice, go for it here on fourth down, and then if I don't get it, at least I'll have a set defensive play to try and stop a big play from Grand Island rather than letting something kind of wacky happen on a punt return.
All right, Coach Cole didn't listen to you.
No, not at all. Good for him. That's why he's at the helm, and I'm not.
Unless we could see some dancing around here with Jake Krotzel. He will kick this one away. There's 2 Islanders deep to receive it. They're kicking away from the 41 after a 3-and-out. First one of the game for the Bearcats offense. Krotzel gets a good boot into this. It's taken from the 21. And not much space to work. Handquist, did he lose the football? Handquist lost the football, and the Bearcats have it. Kearney High with another takeaway. They're set up on the doorstep of the red zone with 21 seconds left.
And they are fired up. Happened right in front of their sideline. What a tackle. The coverage unit was there. And Johnny on the spot, jumping on the ball. Who was that? Eli Randolph. And he stayed in bounds, too.
It was Trevor Peterson who came in and stripped that football. He had the Islander return man, Handquist, on top of him when he got that football out, not touching the ground.
Okay, so that's why you punt the ball away. Okay, got it.
Brandon Kuhl knew it the whole time. Now Novacek, he's looking to the end zone. Takes off with it instead. And Griffin Novacek calmly escapes the pocket out of bounds to the 21, picks up 7 yards and stops the clock.
You described that perfectly. Calmly ran the ball out of bounds, didn't try and fight and get extra yardage, any of that. Knew that every second is at a premium here at the end of the game. Here's a couple more words from Coach Kuhl before he takes the play into the huddle.
This game started out 10-0. If you're just joining us, the 13 seed Grand Island, who lost to Kearney earlier this year, came out, punched the Bearcats in the mouth. But Kearney High has caught its stride in the second quarter and is looking to add to a 3-point lead. Novacek to the end zone, and a penalty flag comes out. That's likely going to be on Justice Hostetler, who was covering Randolph in the slot.
And Hostetler had the coverage. He didn't need to continue and run into the receiver. It was a little bit underthrown, got him in the back. And when you kind of throw your hands up in the air saying, nothing to see here, nothing to see here, well, that's usually a telltale sign there is something.
Yeah, just needed to turn around, turn that head around, and likely would not have been a penalty. And we'll hear officially from the referee here. It's a holding penalty, not pass interference. So 10 yards, but that is the 6th penalty against Grand Island this half, and it sets up Kearney High 1st and 10 from the 11.
Do you zing one to the end zone here, then allow your kicker to come back out and try and punch one through?
Well, you certainly have to trust in Jake Krotzel, who's one of the finer kickers in Class A, but with a blocked extra point at a missed 31-yarder, you would not mind 6 if you're the Bearcats. That's what Novacek has in his mind. He's running out of time, and he's hit behind the line. Timeout, Kearney, after a sack by Caden Roberson. Back to the 14-yard line, a loss of 3.
And that was a coverage sack. Good on Roberson for finally getting home, but he had to come back around and work through his guy behind the pocket. Good on him sticking with the play. But how about that? The back 7 guys there, the coverage guys, not allowing anyone to break free in the end zone.
And Grand Island coaches say, no, a timeout was called. We can have our guys come to the sideline. They're standing at the numbers on the 20. The Grand Island guys just want to get in there and block the kick. They don't want to go over and talk to their coaches. But the coaches are saying, we want Jake Krotzel to be thinking about his 2 missed kicks right now.
Yeah, let him go stand by himself, getting in his own head. And that's a gamesmanship that we're talking about between these 2 coaching staffs. And Kuhl's like looking at the officials like, I thought we were lined up. I thought we were good to go.
I just wanted to stop the clock, yeah. Well, Jake Krotzel heading out. A 6'4" kicker, a junior. And as at practice yesterday, I mentioned this, but he hit from 45 on his only try and made a few from 35. This one from 21. The wind's not really a factor. To provide 6 points of separation. Krotzel has the distance, and it's right down the middle. He's back on track, and Kearney's lead expands to 6, the final play of the first half.
Good to see a young man like Krautzel regather himself and get one to go after a couple mishaps earlier in the first half.
An exciting first half of football, exactly what we expected from these arch rivals in central Nebraska. A spot in the quarterfinals and the Class A playoffs is on the line. We'll break it all down for you and have your halftime highlights when we return.
It's 2023. Bad internet shouldn't be a thing. FYI, coax and satellite internet are vintage. Stop settling for lagging, buffering, and freezing. Switch to Allo Fiber and enjoy speeds up to 1 gig across multiple devices, 24/7 local customer support, no data caps. Fiber your internet with Allo. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
From service to sales, everyone at Cornhusker Toyota Honda wants to say thank you for voting us the best. Come see us and find out why. We're Nebraska's only dual Toyota Honda dealer, and both are offering great rates on your new vehicle. We're stocked with Tundra trucks. Come in and test drive one today. When you're voted the best, expect a high level of service that doesn't end after the sale. We're on Deers Avenue, Grand Island, and we truly appreciate our customers. Stop in today or start online at cornhuskertoyota.com and cornhuskerhonda.com.
NCN Sports is brought to you by 5 Points Bank, the better bank, proud of the student athletes in the communities we serve, and by Lavander's Body Shop. We promise to always provide value and outstanding service regardless of repair size.
At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. By taking time to serve our community, donating resources, time, and talents to local causes, and sharing insights on the best practices to make banking easier for your family or business. And after 140 years of service, we're committed to continuing that legacy. Equitable Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
As expected, we have a really fun one here in Kearney. I'm Michael Shively, Andy Klassen with me, our full crew. And of course, always appreciate their efforts. When it gets to this point of the season, it's going to be cold
yes.
out there with the camera, but they're delivering our shots beautifully here tonight. And we might as well take a look at those here at halftime. With the score 16-10, your halftime highlights are brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Stunning engagement collections, exceptional diamonds, dazzling gemstones can be found at their Lincoln and Grand Island locations. Bodie Albers opened up the scoring, a 1-yard quarterback sneak. Albers, the senior, gets the score, and it's 7-zip Grand Island. Now more from Albers. He finds Halling. That's an 18-yard grab. That was on 2nd and 22. Made it 3rd down and 4. Really gave a chance for this drive to keep going. Another QB sneak. This one's not just for a yard, though. This goes for 10.
Yeah, he just keeps those powerful legs churning. Look at those offensive linemen staying involved, and they utilize that quarterback sneak a couple of times in the first half, did the Islanders.
That led to this field goal try, and Thatcher Panowitz gets it through. Interesting note on that, he had a warm-up. A penalty was thrown, marker was thrown, but their foul was called off, so he got a second try at it. And there's the response from the Bearcats, 72 yards. They fake the toss, and Carter Lee runs all by himself for 72.
Yeah, good response, good answer by the Bearcats, and that's what this first half's been all about for the Kearney offense, is the big play.
More Kearney, Abel Molina, speaking of big plays, look at him break free here. And the senior in for 6. That's a 22-yard score, but point after was blocked. And now Grand Island's driving, trying to get the lead back, but thrown right into the gut of Kearney's defensive player, Reese Bertrand. Bertrand with the pick, The Bearcats are fired up. They don't get anything going on offense and have to punt. So a return for Hunter Handquist, and the football pops loose. The Bearcats pounce. Knocked free. How about that play by Trevor Peterson?
Yeah, and Booth, one of the would-be blockers for Grand Island, was the one that actually kind of ended up jarring that ball loose. Unfortunate for the Grand Island.
And then the field goal is good to end the half. That's how we got to 16-10. Interesting game. More scoring than the first time, but we expected that.
Yeah, and you really got to like how the Bearcats were able to gather themselves after getting down 10 early, regather themselves, and then be able to execute at a high level on offense for the answer and the get back. And you talk about how points come at a premium, and how Kearney kind of gave one away with a blocked PAT. Well, then they got it right back through special teams, forcing a turnover and getting a late field goal, getting that PAT back and a couple of more on top with that late field goal right before the halftime break.
No doubt about it. The Bearcats will be excited when they run through that tunnel. That'll be when we return. You're watching Class A playoff football on News Channel Nebraska.
Tom Dinsdale Automotive is celebrating our 20th anniversary. 20 years of building lifelong relationships. 20 years of providing superior customer experiences. 20 years of supporting the community. For 20 years, we've been building trust and loyalty by treating every customer like family on every visit. We're proud to serve Grand Island and the surrounding areas. Thank you for 20 great years, and we look forward to many more. Help us celebrate 20 years of service. Stop in today.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Roe Buick, Roe Chevy in Aurora, and Roe Buick in Grand Island, by Central Community College, maximizing student and community success, and by Equitable Bank. They take banking personally.
Yes, we are a bank. Keeping your money safe and secure is something we take very seriously. We are also serious about meeting you where you are, supporting our communities and the causes you care about, serving your individual and unique needs. Yes, we're a bank, but we are the better bank.
Like loyalty to your favorite team, loyalty at Roe Buick and Roe Chevy has been the foundation of our business for over 70 years. Every team member in our dealerships know customer satisfaction is everything. Roe Buick in Grand Island and Roe Chevy in Aurora are proud to support the home team and proud to be the Nebraska auto dealer you can trust with the purchase of your next vehicle. Shop all of our new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at roauto.com.
A partner in your everyday since 1975. Woodhouse.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Aloe. You deserve the fiber things in life. Aloe Fiber. And by News Channel Nebraska. Follow at NCN Sports for highlights, interviews, rankings, and our broadcast schedule.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Central Platte Natural Resources District has sold 3.8 million conservation seedlings since 1973. The NRD is now taking orders for a variety of trees and shrubs for spring planting. Purchase bundles of 25 seedlings for only $1.25 per seedling, sold in bundles of 25. 50% cost share funds are available for trees and weed barrier when 200 plus trees are ordered. Call 308-385-6282 or visit cpnrd.org.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, the owner of a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Lavander's body shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look as good as new.
Lavender, I don't gamble with your car repair.
Hey there, sports fans. Looking for a winning play to make your game day complete? Look no further than Speedy Mart, your family-owned neighborhood convenience store. Score big with the wide range of snacks, drinks, and fuel for the road that will keep the whole crew cheering. And here's the kicker. Our friendly atmosphere and convenient location make every visit a slam dunk. So rally the family and head to Speedy Mart for the ultimate game day experience.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only dual Toyota Honda dealer. By Summit Real Estate, let Summit Real Estate help you score big. And by Central Platte Natural Resource District since 1972.
At Zollner Ford, come and see our great selection of new Ford vehicles. Whether you're looking to buy new or you need a car serviced, it's our pleasure to assist you. Our online website makes shopping even easier. Browse our massive inventory of vehicles or schedule your next maintenance appointment. We even offer drop-off and pickup services. Stop by today or visit us online at zollnerofbeatrice.com.
From service to sales, everyone at Cornhusker Toyota Honda wants to say thank you for voting us the best. Come see us and find out why. We're Nebraska's only dual Toyota Honda dealer, and both are offering great rates on your new vehicle. We're stocked with Tundra trucks. Come in and test drive one today. When you're voted the best, expect a high level of service that doesn't end after the sale. We're on Deers Avenue, Grand Island, and we truly appreciate our customers. Stop in today or start online at cornhuskertoyota.com and cornhuskerhonda.com.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Currency. Visit gocurrency.com for details. By USave Pharmacy, dedicated to the well-being of all our customers. And by Zellner Ford Lincoln, proud to be your local Ford and Lincoln dealer.
At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. By taking time to serve our community, donating resources, time, and talents to local causes, and sharing insights on the best practices to make banking easier for your family or business. And after 140 years of service, we're committed to continuing that legacy. Equitable Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
There's the look at the Loper on the middle of the Foster Field turf. Not college football right now. This is as good as it gets, though, in high school football in Nebraska. The opening round of the Class A playoffs, and we have a competitive game. It's Kearney 16, Grand Island 10 on your Tom Dinsdale scoreboard. I'm Michael Shifley. He's Andy Klassen. Looking at your halftime stats, and how about this? The Bearcats pile up 200 yards in just 2 quarters.
Yeah, pretty impressive, especially since, I felt in the first quarter, it just kind of felt they were out of rhythm. They were off beat, and then they were able to gather themselves and have a huge second quarter, not only tie things up, but take the lead going into halftime.
No, 72-yard pass, that'll help you get to 200 yards.
It does.
110 of that still was on the ground. So
right.
the rushing game started to open up for Kearney.
And that's a great point, Michael, and I'm glad you said that, because those tough rushing yards, especially the ones that, those 1-2 yard gains that you don't think much about in that first quarter, that's the only reason that 72-yard pass play was available, because it was set up by the run. It was a fake toss. You had extra defenders coming up to honor the run, and that allowed that receiver Ruling to slip behind that defense for that big 72-yard strike.
No, that's a great point. Not a play you could have called in the first quarter. But
exactly.
In the second quarter, when you've had those dual runs with the running back and quarterback out there, and you've seen 3 different variations of the toss, time to call it out. Grand Island, 145 yards of offense. Talk about balance, 75 on the ground, 70 through the air, and they were moving the football well before that interception. That pick, really the difference in the game right now.
Yeah, it really was, and it just felt like Albers tried to just force one in there to his senior Caleb Richardson on that little skinny slant route there going to the middle. And you mentioned how versatile Grand Island, and I love how Coach Tomlin is so candid in his interviews, midweek, pregame, whatever. But he mentioned how last time when we won, or we threatened to win there, we passed the ball too much. We relied on the pass too much on offense, so he wanted to run the ball a little bit too much. But here in the second half, I think you throw all that out the window. If the pass is working for you, lean on it. If the run is working for you, lean on it. You're down by 6 right now. You're the underseed. What do you got to lose? It's now or never if you're Grand Island.
Neither senior class wants their football careers to come to an end, especially against their rival.
Oh.
16-10 the score at half. We have the start of the third quarter when we come back on News Channel Nebraska.
Central Platte Natural Resources District has sold 3.8 million conservation seedlings since 1973. The NRD is now taking orders for a variety of trees and shrubs for spring planting. Purchase bundles of 25 seedlings for only $1.25 per seedling, sold in bundles of 25. 50% cost share funds are available for trees and weed barrier when 200 plus trees are ordered. Call 308-385-6282 or visit cpnrd.org.
Tom Dinsdale Automotive is celebrating our 20th anniversary. 20 years of building lifelong relationships. 20 years of providing superior customer experiences. 20 years of supporting the community. For 20 years, we've been building trust and loyalty by treating every customer like family on every visit. We're proud to serve Grand Island and the surrounding areas. Thank you for 20 great years, and we look forward to many more. Help us celebrate 20 years of service. Stop in today.
We're ready for the kickoff in half number 2, 16-10 the score. The Bearcats in front of Grand Island. Today's broadcast brought to you in part by United Healthcare. High school seniors apply now for the United Healthcare Future of Nebraska Scholarship. 5 $5,000 scholarships will be awarded. The final deadline is December 1st. It's not based on grade point average, SAT score, any of that. They're looking for students who demonstrate leadership and create positive impacts in their school and community, volunteering, philanthropy, leadership, extracurriculars, and more. NewsChannelNebraska.com. Apply by December 1st for the Future of Nebraska Scholarship, brought to you by News Channel Nebraska and United Healthcare.
Well, we very well may be looking at a couple future recipients down the sidelines here, because we know how both coaching staffs love to be a part of the community, not just on the field, but out in the community doing so many things to help their communities out. So wouldn't be surprised if that trickles down to some of these players.
The Islanders will kick off first. They built a 10-0 lead. Then Kearney High roared back to take the 16-10 advantage. This is Xander Ruling. Busted a big return earlier, and he's tripped up. Dives across the 30 to the 32. That's where Griffin Novacek and company will emerge to begin this third quarter.
Yeah, such a unique running style where he just kind of glides, and you know he's leaning to his right, and then he cuts it back left. It gets the defender out of his lane, or just leaning a little too far one way or the other, and then you have the cut back. You saw it work there for an additional 10, 12 yards once he bounced it outside after threatening the middle of the field.
Couple of checks here for the Bearcats before the first snap. It's a low snap. Novacek takes it himself to the 35 and a pickup of 3.
See, that's one of those big things that Novacek can do for your offense, where you get a low snap and that could just be disastrous, right? But instead he turns it into a positive play. Not a big play by any means, but you stay ahead of the sticks here and you bring up a 2nd and 7. So you're still, kind of marching down the field. Your offense is still where it wants to be on 2nd down.
And what a fun part of the game here with two of the best coaches in Class A football, Jeff Tomlin of Grand Island, Brandon Kuhl of Kearney. What counter adjustments did they make defensively, offensively at the half? They were in there cooking something up, and that time Justice Hostetler almost cooked himself up a pick.
Yeah, maybe that might have been, one of the things you're referencing there. Hey, Big Haas, stay in the pocket there on those pass plays. Kind of drift into that bubble where they've been passing the ball early.
Kearney with 4 completions in the first half to 4 different receivers, totaling 90 yards.
Such a good job spreading the ball around, utilizing different formations.
3rd down and 7. Novacek throws to the sticks, and it's hauled in right at the marker, Carter Lee.
Carter Lee's had himself a heck of a game up to this point. And look how he helps his quarterback out here. Comes back to the ball because that defender was trying to break on it. Gets in there, tries to get that first down, does so, knows exactly where the marker's at.
Isaiah Wyatt with the tackle after the 7-yard pickup. Means it's a first down.
And you can tell Carter Lee's had a couple good games. Look at all those stickers he has on his helmet. He's turned his helmet from white to black. That's too many good games, right?
Multi-sport star for Kearney. Love seeing him in the basketball court, the baseball diamond. Both of these teams littered with multi-sport athletes. There's Abel Molina navigating forward for maybe 4 yards.
And Molina's got a nod to his buddy Xander Ruling there for not getting a late block in the back. Look at number 0 here coming to your screen, but he lays off. Doesn't hit the guy in the back. That's some good discipline on the edge there.
Jacob Albers applies the final hit. Shove out Molina after a pickup of 5.
Once again, I'm not speaking from experience there, Michael. I never would have blocked a guy in the back.
I wasn't going to accuse you of it.
I saw you over it now.
Quick comeback route. Hauled in. Caleb Larson. Stacked up, but not before he gets 6 yards into Islander territory to the 47.
Boy, you got to kind of like the pace, the rhythm that this Bearcat offense is playing with if you're a Kearney fan there. Nice job by Caleb Larson breaking that route off, coming back to the ball, helping his quarterback out, and then able to kind of get upfield to convert that first down. See, and this is where if you're a defender, you start itching up. Inching yourself up, and you open yourself up for a big play getting behind you because they're getting everything underneath on you. You want to shore that up.
It's a toss. Molina gobbled up. Excellent pursuit from behind. Roberson again. Boy, has he been busy today. Held Molina to just 3, maybe 4 yards.
I mean, that's a 6'4 senior, 215-pounder. Running down a speedster on the edge.
Playoff football, plenty of other games in action right now. Score update for the in-town people. Northwest there in Grand Island having a tough go against Norris, 43-7. The Titans in front, and it is final. Kearney Catholic wins 31-15 over Battle Creek. Long option. Novacek gets maybe a yard to the 43.
Yeah, I mean, in Kearney, so much is predicated on their offense getting the edge, right? Getting outside, getting your playmakers some space to work with. But Grand Island does such a good job defensively, stringing those types of plays out. Playing contain, multiple guys on top of the play, and allowing those inside linebackers, those backside defensive ends to fill in and make the play. Just kind of operates the way a 3-4 defense is supposed to.
It's 3rd down and 6. 4 defenders along the line of scrimmage, and they rush 5. Novacek steps up. He's still alive, but running out of time. He's brought down. A sack for the Islander defense. Leading the way, Rody Mintkin.
And Novacek was trying to make a play, wanted to make a play, and he was fortunate he was able to hold on to that ball throughout the takedown, throughout the sack, because he got it up there, and he looked like he was going to try and dump one over top of the defenders. He was fortunate that he kept a hold of it.
And there's a player down still for Kearney. It might be Novacek.
Yeah, shook up a little bit here.
And Hostetler was in on the play in addition to Mintkin, and he's Novacek now getting up and limping. It looks like the right leg is a little ginger. There's a loss of 6 on the play. So the Kearney drive that started at their own 32 dies out just across midfield. And here's Kratzel to punt.
Kind of a classic Grand Island defensive stop where they bend a little bit, but they don't break. They keep it all in front of them.
Again, 2 return men deep. It's a high kick. Hang time, superb, and it's dropped, and Kearney has it. Handquist again, after fumbling the previous return, muffs this punt, and it's Bearcats football in the red zone.
Yeah, Hunter Handquist having a tough game in the return game here. And you saw he's trying to call everybody off, but that ball with that late movement kind of took him towards the defender. I don't know if he took his eyes off it for a split second. Appeared he hauled it in initially, but just kind of bounced out the last second.
I don't have any record of him fumbling this season before today, but 2 costly giveaways. And the Bearcats, gobbled up. Justice Hostetler, that guy is a football player.
He's just all over the field, and man, does he get after it. Plays mad, doesn't he? Especially off a turnover. After a turnover, a negative play, 3-5 usually comes up in a big way for his Islanders. And that's on the offensive side, too. What do you have, like 3 or 4 receptions?
Yes, he had the first 4 catches of the game for Grand Island, but defensively, usually where we're calling his name most often and coming in to make that tackle for no gain against Eli Randolph. Now Novacek spins the football in his hands. He has to take off, has a little bit of room. Penalty flag comes out. Novacek, dropped the football. It fell out harmlessly on the far sideline, but we'll check that penalty. It could be backing up the Bearcats even more.
Could be a hold, could be a block in the back, could be a take your pick, Coach Tomlin, but I think this one's coming back.
Yeah, one of those plays. The longer it stays alive, the more likely that I think we saw that tug of the jersey on the far left side of our screen there.
And it was Caden Robinson in the middle of that.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Now the Stars coming to play. And holding on the offense for a 10-yard penalty. For the Bearcats, that's penalty number 5 this game. They had 4 for 45 yards in the first half. Grand Island even more severe, 6 penalties for 55 yards. Both sides looking to clean that up here in half number 2.
Yeah, you can bet both coaching staffs made a point of emphasis about that. And Grand Island noted during the halftime break, we're actually doing, fake play calls and counts, making sure their linemen were in a 3-point stance and not jumping off sides.
Yeah, when you're warming up at halftime, working on your snap count, and show what happened in that first half. Sliding, did he haul that catch in? Wow, what a job with a sliding catch, Carter Lee.
Boy, Carter Lee has his fingerprints all over this game thus far. Going down, making the catch, and then keeping his legs, his knees in bounds as he secures that catch. Pulls it up off the turf. Gets a lot of that penalty yardage back, brings him back to a 3rd and 10 here.
For Lee, that's now 3 catches for 89 yards. He's been the offensive star. That was one of his better catches of the year. 5-man pressure. And that's a penalty flag.
Probably would got away with that one, a couple of years ago, but might have got a targeting there as that hit was a little high.
Bo Scala, the tight end, the intended target. Almost got a hand on that, which would have made it a legal play. But Hunter Handquist is too high there on the hit.
I think it was the helmet to helmet that drew the flag. I mean, it was a good aggressive nature there. You're trying to jar the ball loose, but you got to you got to know where your helmet's at all times, and you can't allow it to make contact with the would-be receiver.
And both of our reactions was to grimace.
Yeah.
On that one. And tough trying to make a play there, but and yields a penalty flag. Offsetting.
Boy, and Kearney looked like they had one dialed up there trying to exploit the seam route. They hadn't done that yet. That's usually one of their big plays, hitting a tight end, lumbering up the middle of the field free. Heinquist got there just a little late, drew the penalty, but he was bailed out by the illegal procedure. We're going to do it over.
How about that? That's a big difference. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 12. Would have been 1st down and goal had there not been a procedure penalty against the Bearcats. So the penalty troubles plague both teams early in the 3rd quarter. We're 5 minutes into this 3rd quarter and still just one possession between these rivals. Novacek still trying to keep the play alive, and he's not able to. He's wrapped up. The pressure gets home, and Caden Roberson, the 6'4" senior who's having a dynamite football game, drops Novacek at the 14 for a loss of 2.
Roberson playing a lot of his ball from the defensive end position. He's just one of those high motor guys that doesn't quit. And a lot of times when you say high motor guy, you're talking about an undersized guy that just doesn't give up. No. Robertson's a big fella that brings a lot to the table here for Grand Island.
Jake Krotzel hit from 31 on this side of the field at the end of the half. From 31 again, this time a different angle, clearly has the distance, and it's true. A field goal for Jake Krotzel grows the lead to 2 possessions for the Kearney High Bearcats. It's 19-10 on your Aurora Cooperative scoreboard.
NCN Sports is brought to you by 5 Points Bank, the better bank, proud of the student athletes in the communities we serve, and by Lavander's Body Shop. We promise to always provide value and outstanding service regardless of repair size.
Yes, we are a bank. Keeping your money safe and secure is something we take very seriously. We are also serious about meeting you where you are, supporting our communities and the causes you care about, serving your individual and unique needs. Yes, we're a bank, but we are the better bank.
Grand Island set to get the football. Just their 2nd possession here. Well, no, let me correct myself. That's just going to be their 1st possession because of the muffed punt. So the Islanders have not been able to have an offensive snap yet, and we've expired more than half of the 3rd quarter clock. Return opportunity along the right side. It's a sprint. Can anybody catch Nelson Wheeler? Wheeler cut out of bounds at the 25-yard line by the kicker. That was a straight line sprint for the sophomore.
That feels like an adjustment made at the halftime. Like, look, I think we got something here. Return right. You got to just put your head down, pin your ears back, and hit the hole. Get up the alley. Don't try and cut in. Don't wiggle around. Just believe in your blockers. Believe in the setup. And boy, howdy did Wheeler use his wheels on that one to get up the sideline.
No, he sure did with the ball placed at the 25-yard line.
Man, that's the play that Grand Island was looking for. I tell you what, you got a couple of turnovers, things don't go your way, penalties, whatever the case may be. Big play through the special teams, breathing some life back into the sideline over there for GI.
67-yard return. And a positive run on 1st down to the 20. A pickup of 5 for Richardson.
But let's not discount that last offensive drive. It was a short field, but good on Kearney for taking advantage of the turnover and pushing this, as you mentioned, to a 2-possession game. That 1 point, instead of being up 18-10 to 19-10, that could loom very large down the stretch.
Hostetler takes the cutback lane, applies a couple of stiff arms, and the fullback's inside the 10.
We already had a Heinrich Harburg mentioned earlier. That looked like a Harburg stiff arm right there from Hostetler.
Sure did. He goes for 13 and the 1st down.
You know, you mentioned how he's just a football guy, and we talked about how he opened up the game as such a weapon through the passing game on offense after a big-time sack on defense earlier this quarter. Do you think in Wikipedia, football guy, there's just a picture of Justice Hostetler there?
That's whose photo I would apply. This time Richardson doesn't have any running room. He's corralled behind the line. They're fired up about that. Again, Keegan Hunt teaming up with Ryan Meyer for that TFL. 2nd down and goal from the 7.
Ryan Meyer had 10 tackles the last time Grand Island and Kearney played.
Islanders, they need more than 3 here. Down a couple of scores in the 3rd quarter. Clock starting to dwindle. Late pass. Oh, and in and out of the hands. Almost had Jacob Albers late on the play. But a good hit applied by Abel Molina helped break it up.
Back of the end zone. That felt like Albers was just kind of locked in on 1 or 2 receivers because I thought Justice Hostetler leaked out and came free. He had a wide open guy a little bit to his right here, just didn't see him. Look at Hostetler all by himself over there.
Xander ruling he might have got a fingertip on that football too to help disrupt that play. But credit Albers, he stood in the pocket for an eternity. Delivered a good ball, just not quite complete. 3rd down and goal for Grand Island. Again over the middle, but this, a late flag, a late penalty flag as the Islander receiver fell to the turf. They were looking for Halling, Riley Halling, the junior, the favorite target of Bodie Albers.
Should get a good look at it here on the replay. Yeah, a lot of contact.
Stiff arm there by the defense.
And Halling might have slowed a little bit there, fell down, but no doubt that while he was doing that crossing route, drag route across the middle of the end zone there, free safety Adams got his hand out there and kind of jarred him off his route.
Well, that one's only going to count as a 3.5-yard penalty, but half the distance to the goal in this scenario looms large.
And Albers is one of those quarterbacks. He's not afraid to tuck it and run.
Still 3rd down and goal, and Albers does. He tucks it, he runs, he finds pay dirt. Grand Island responds with a score to cut it to a 3-point game pending the extra points.
There's that versatility, that balance that Grand Island plays with on offense. Albers was trying to work one in through the air, shifts gears a little bit. That old traditional option play saw just enough of a crease there, Michael, to break the plane.
Would have been 4th down in the field goal unit. Instead, the penalty flag comes out and Grand Island punches it in. The 2nd rushing touchdown of the game for the signal caller for Grand Island, but the point after is hooked to the left. Thatcher Panowitz unable to connect. Both place kickers have missed point after tries. That means it's a 3-point game. This rivalry, it's always one possession. It never wavers. It's consistent, and we have another one here with 4:35 left in the 3rd quarter.
Like loyalty to your favorite team, loyalty at Rowe Buick and Rowe Chevy has been the foundation of our business for over 70 years. Every team member in our dealerships know customer satisfaction is everything. Rowe Buick in Grand Island and Rowe Chevy in Aurora are proud to support the home team and proud to be the Nebraska auto dealer you can trust with the purchase of your next vehicle. Shop all of our new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at roweauto.com.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Rowe Buick, Rowe Chevy in Aurora, and Rowe Buick in Grand Island, by Central Community College, maximizing student and community success, and by Equitable Bank. They take banking personally.
Oh, it was more of a pooch kick than anything, and the Bearcats just fall on it at the 28. That's where they take over, but you knew Grand Island, they weren't going to let the Bearcats run away with it. They never do.
Right.
They've split the last 4 matchups between these teams, and it's been decided by a combined 14 points.
You know, how many times do you hear coaches talk about complementary football? And if one side of the ball's, having a tough go of it, the other side has to pick them up. Well, in this case, Grand Island special teams had a couple blunders, right? Offense gets an opportunity, marches right down the field, capped off by a short quarterback run. Brody Albers pulling them back within 3.
About 4 yards on first down for Abel Molina. Michael Shively, Andy Klassen with you. 2nd down and 6. Checking up on other scores in Class A, and certainly paying attention to Millard West, Millard North, the 5 versus 12 matchup. The winner of this game plays the winner of that game. 21-14, Millard West, the 5 seed in front. That's at last check, still late first half.
Yeah, a couple of minutes left there in the second quarter, and Millard West holding on to a 7-point lead here over Millard North.
And they're going to stretch out Griffin Novacek. That's the quarterback.
Seen that a couple times, right?
Right. Well, he'll have to come out for this next snap unless Kearney burns a timeout.
And that might be what they're doing as everyone's heading on over to the sideline.
As they stretch out Novacek, we'll take a quick breather. An exciting game here at Cope Stadium.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, the owner of a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Lavander's body shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look as good as new.
Lavender, I don't gamble with your car repair.
There's a new face at quarterback for this snap, and it's a handoff. And what about that defense? Eli Randolph runs into the wall of Cedric Sullivan, and needing 2 yards.
I think they only got
he
one.
He comes up at least a yard short, maybe no gain for Eli Randolph.
Punting team takes the field here for Kearney, and
Novacek takes a seat, actually lays down on the Kearney sideline, getting stretched out a little bit further. So the Bearcats thought they might be able to go without him for a play, but the handoff to Randolph goes nowhere. Kratzel gets the knee-high snap. Here's another good punt. Richardson waves for the fair catch at the 23.
Excellent job running over there and making the catch, not giving up that extra yardage. Had that ball hit the turf, it was one of those low driving style of kicks, so you can bet it would have worked its way closer and closer to the end zone. All that type of yardage is kind of hidden. You don't see that in the box score. But number 4, Caleb Richardson, the senior, doing a really nice job getting over there and making that, securing that catch.
That drive for Kearney High lasted 37 seconds of game time. 3 and out, and the momentum has flipped in this game to the Islanders, who trail by just 3 and have the football.
Boy, and flipped on a dime, didn't it? Because Kearney had all the momentum earlier in this third quarter.
Special teams changed it, though, because of that 67-yard kickoff return.
And special teams turned it the time before off the turnover for Kearney.
You know, talking to both of these coaches, and it's veteran coaches, more than 20 years of experience at their current schools, so complimentary of each other.
Yeah.
I know Coach Kuhl specifically said Jeff Tomlin causes lots of difficulties for his opponents in special teams. And we've seen both sides come up with huge plays in that forgotten third part of the contest.
Yeah, both teams have really excelled at times through their special teams with their special team units here. And I thought it was fascinating, your midweek interviews with these coaches. Both of them brought up special teams, and it didn't feel like just the ho-hum, third of the game type of talk. No, they were putting a point of emphasis on it.
9-yard gain for Richardson, and attending their practices. They each started their practices with special teams, and I admired the focus of the whole roster during those moments. Now here's Richardson. He's going deep, and it's incomplete. A penalty flag by the pass. There was a huge hit on Richardson right after he released the football. That could be what warranted that penalty flag, but that was a chance. What a ball by that halfback.
Yeah, tight spiral, and I felt like you had a couple of receivers in the same area.
Coben Bolton was the intended target. Maddox Miller had the coverage behind him.
It's going to be a holding.
The penalty is a hold. And another critical penalty.
And good on Kearney for staying true on that. Defender might have been, off by a half step, but had the recovery speed to get back over the top and not allow for the would-be big play had there not been a holding call.
Well, often that halfback pass, you might not see the tightest of spirals or the longest of throws. But Caleb Richardson, heck of an arm. Oh, the football's loose. It's still loose. And finally hops out of bounds. Coughed up by Kostler.
I tell you what, it just feels like the Bearcats have a knack for punching that ball out here tonight.
He just lost it. Kostler trying to switch hands with it. This was his first carry of the night. We had not seen a carry for the 5'10", 185-pound senior. He lost that football and was fortunate it went out of bounds.
Carson Jonek might have jumped on it right on the sideline there to make sure it stayed with the Islanders.
Good call. Patient running for Wheeler, Nelson Wheeler. He's grabbed at the waist and dropped. Reese Bertrand again, and it's 3rd down and 4 yards.
Bertrand showing you the hands earlier in the game with his interception on the little slant route to the middle of the field. That time a really tough tackle, slamming the running back to the ground.
Kearney students making noise. Grand Island students standing in anticipation. Ahead of 3rd down and 4. A 2-back set. It's Wheeler, and Wheeler has a gash right up the middle to midfield.
That's a gutsy call, isn't it? 3rd and 4, 3rd and a long 3, and you're just going to go right up the gut with not your biggest back, not your fullback, but one of your speedsters. You're just putting a lot of trust in your interior offensive lineman to get that initial push, and then the strength in your running back to carry the load and get that necessary yardage at the end.
That was the 9th carry for Nelson Wheeler. His first 8, none of them went for more than 3 yards. That one goes for 7 and the first down. They give it to him again, but this time stymied. How about that hit? Josh Dolence, or was that Bertrand? That was Bertrand who came up. Reese Bertrand again, who's really making his mark in this football game.
And Baker Bertrand also helped out there, kind of blowing that one up early with the initial penetration.
There are 3 Bertrands on this roster, a pair of brothers and a cousin.
Family affair.
Back to Wheeler. He's shifty, but can't evade a pair of defensive linemen, including Bryce Anderson. Give a couple of yards. 3.
Yeah, just a couple. Once again, that 4-man front.
3rd down and 7.
Actually, it looks like the Bearcats had shifted into more of a 3-4 look here. Oh, there we go. There you got the 4-down lineman.
They don't have to snap this if they don't want to, Grand Island, but they do get the play off. Albers running out of time. He's hitting the backfield. It's Bryce Anderson who drops him back to the 43-yard line. A sack and a loss of 5 on 3rd down.
And that's just the constant pressure coming at you. And that's where Bertrand, you got to feel that pressure. You got to get out of the pocket. It just collapses on the young man. Bearcats, big momentum shifting sack, bringing up a 4th and long.
The Islanders will have to punt away on the first snap of the 4th quarter in this 3-point affair between Central Nebraska rivals.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, the owner of a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Lavander's body shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look as good as new.
Lavender. I don't gamble with your car repair.
Well, Andy, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. We got a close game.
I didn't argue.
These teams, every year it seems, every time they meet up, and this time they get a special second date with each other. Falling on the football at the 17. Good punt executed by Grand Island.
You know, it's kind of telling. You went to both those practices and interviewed multiple players, and they all said, "We are happy to see Kearney. We're happy to see Grand Island."
I was told by everybody I asked, "Are you happy about the matchup?" No hesitation.
Yeah, the rematch, yes. That's who we wanted.
We were hoping for it. Oh, maybe Grand Island is maybe Elkhorn South. No. Talking to their center, Reed Kelly said, "Oh, I wanted Kearney the whole way. I think we have a great chance against them." And it's turning out to be one heck of a ball game. Griffin Novacek tossing to his right, this time secured. And LeGrone races to the sideline and manages 8 yards on first down.
And if you're at home, you're thinking, how is LeGrone always just so wide open? It's because of his speed, and the corners have to respect him and play so deep off him. But then when he breaks off that route and comes back, he's got a huge cushion to work with to pile up those yaks, those yards after catch on those comeback routes.
The third completion of the half for Griffin Novacek, who was getting stretched out and had to miss a snap, perhaps a cramping scenario. Abel Molina puts 2 hands on the football, fights for every yard he can get, and it includes the yardage needed to get the first down, picks up 3.
Well, and you're exactly right there, Michael. That second, third effort is the difference between being a third and short or moving the sticks and getting the first down. Molina moving the sticks in a big way, in a big spot, right?
He's stiff coming up from that. He's now able, looks a little more loose to the sideline, but had to miss that play. So long season, 9 hard-fought games for these teams to get to this point. Everyone with nicks and bruises when you get to the playoffs. Randolph flips over to the right side. They toss it to him and finds what he can along the painted area on the sideline. That's a decent gain to the 33, about 5 yards.
Really is, and it was just a true toss, but with a little wrinkle in it, right, where you have Novacek kind of running out with the tailback before he gets into his toss. So then you got to honor the quarterback run as well. You know, that takes an extra defender. It gives you another split second, a little bit more yardage, green area to work with out in front of you.
Second down. Randolph again moves to the right side in the backfield. Runs it to the left. It's a race to the sideline with Albers. Ooh, and Albers able to get a good grasp of him and stop Randolph from peeling off a major gain. Instead, he holds him to about 5 near the first down marker.
And Randolph can fly. That's a speedy back right there. So for a defensive end and Albers to be able to stay stride for stride with him after engaging with an offensive tight end, blocking him on the edge, that's pretty impressive. But he did pick up enough yardage to move the sticks. Eli Randolph picks up the first down.
Tight end Kratzel make that Scala flipping over from the right to the left side. Penalty flag comes out just before the snap.
False start, going to move him back 5.
3 penalties on Kearney High in half number 2, totaling 19 yards. Coach Kuhl barking instructions to his junior signal caller Novacek ahead of first down and 15.
Little frustration there after another 5-yard penalty.
Long option play, and there's a seam. Randolph breaks loose to the 46. That's 13 yards on 1st and 15 on a simple option.
See, and that's the alignment. That's the number of games that Kearney was looking for. And that all came down to Novacek making that defensive end commit once again, getting the one-on-one. He had to go for the quarterback before he cut it upfield. Late pitch, Novacek executed it perfectly. That's teach tape material if you want to run, operate an option style of play.
Now to the air. Another sidearm pass and another drop. Again, we're not trying to pick on Zaire Legrone, but this is a big part of the Kearney offense.
Yeah.
Little hitch route, 5-yard hitch, and they want to get the speedster Legrone in space. He's just dropped 3 of them.
Yeah, that's his 3rd drop, and same type of style of play there where he took off before he secured the catch.
This is your 4th quarter, brought to you by Visit Lincoln. See and experience all that Lincoln has to offer. Discover more at Lincoln.org. That's where both of these teams want to wind up at the end of the year. They want to visit Lincoln for the state championship game. Penalty marker, 2 of them, 1 on either side, as Novacek dives to about the 47, 48-yard line where the first down marker is, but this one likely coming back.
Yeah, line judge right on the marker, but yeah, we have multiple flags. We're going to sort them out here.
They're looking to Jeff Tomlin to make a decision. You want 4th and inches or 3rd and 7?
I'm guessing he's going to say 3rd and 7, please. Just to be sure, when I was a captain on my defensive unit in high school and college, I'd always be like, all right, sounds good, but which one is for more yardage? Just spell it out for me.
Oh, declined, 4th down.
Oh. Okay, so that forward progress wasn't as close. I was watching the top line judge. It looked like he was drifted much closer to the 50-yard line. That wasn't the case.
It's more of a full yard than inches.
Yes.
So here comes the punt unit.
So that justifies the decline the penalty there. It wasn't 4th and inches.
Bearcats move the ball from the 17 to the 47, but the 30-yard drive ends on 4th and 1. Another solid punt from Krotzel, fair caught inside the 20. The Islanders will operate starting at the 18 with 10-12 remaining on your Tom Dinsdale scoreboard in this entertaining Class A playoff football game.
And Caleb Richardson, once again, this 5'9" senior, doing a fantastic job coming up and securing the fair catch. Also had a couple bullets, defenders, right in his face as he came up that last second to make the catch.
For Grand Island as a program, their 38th trip to the state playoffs, 11 in a row. Champions back in 1978, runners-up in 87, 90, and 18. Kearney, not bad either, 29 trips, 14 in a row. Winners in 2006, runners-up in 2017. How about this run? Caleb Richardson finally finding some room, showing off what he can do in open field, and he gets to the 31 on a solid gash.
Whether it's Richardson, they use HandQuest sometimes. We've talked about Wheeler a number of times. It just appears that these running backs get stronger and stronger throughout the game for Grand Island. Now you're starting to see the middle of the field soften up a little bit.
Pump fake, Albers goes deep, wide open, Riley Halling to the 20.
He's a big play receiver. Last time he had 95 yards and a touchdown through the air. Averaged 16 yards per reception earlier this season when they played the Bearcats. There's another big play for 2-1, Riley Halling.
49 yards. That sets up the Islanders 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Closing in on the end zone, trailing by just 3 points in quarter number 4. Cut back. And a patient run. Look at that jump cut. And Richardson weaves to the 13 for 7 yards.
How about the vision, the wherewithal, understanding where the defense might have overflowed just a little bit to the right, exploited by Richardson, taking it back to the middle of the field.
How about that pump fake by Bodie Albers?
He sold me on it, I'll tell you what.
And puts it on the money down the right seam to his favorite target. 3rd catch of the day for Halling. 10 seconds on the play clock for the Islanders. It's 2nd down and 2. Kearney brings a blitz. Albers pulls the football and just gets rid of it at the feet of Hostetler. 3rd and 2.
Now that looked like an adjustment made at halftime, right? We saw Albers try to squeeze a couple passes in. He paid the price, threw an interception earlier that time, didn't even think about it. Wisely throws it into the crumb rubber and lives to play another down.
Tension building here in quarter number 4 on News Channel Nebraska. And there's a penalty flag.
Oh boy.
3rd and 2 is about to become 3rd and 7 for Grand Island.
And you saw multiple Bearcat defensive linemen point out the slight movement. Late flag, but I believe it was the correct flag.
That's the 8th of the game on GI.
Just brutal, but I think it's some of that is you live with it when you play multiple formation, kind of quick snap, high octane offense where you want to maximize the number of plays. Sometimes you get out in front of yourself.
Albers looks left, throws to the end zone, caught, touchdown, Caleb Richardson. A 17-yard strike to put Grand Island in front in the 4th quarter.
What a ball game Richardson is having. We saw him in the special teams have a huge impact with the fair catches. We've seen him on defense. We've seen him with some nifty runs. On this drive, Michael, back shoulder catch, makes the late adjustment, hauls it in for the score.
His first receiving touchdown of the season, and it gives his team the lead against their arch rival in the first round of the Class A football playoffs. Thatcher Panowitz, after missing his most recent try, nails this one. And it's 23-19 on the Aurora Cooperative scoreboard. Can't wait for the final 8:38. Here's the touchdown pass. Bodie Albers was on him the whole way. And a perfect throw. Richardson adjusts, catches it on his back shoulder, falling into the end zone. Picture perfect for that connection. Senior to senior.
And how about Albers? You just mentioned they're threading the needle. That was through some traffic, and he had to put it on the back shoulder, and Richardson had to make that adjustment to haul it in.
That was an 82-yard drive taking 1 minute and 32 seconds. Now looking to make a big special teams play. Xander Ruling runs across the entire football field and loses the football. Grand Island falls on it on the 25. He was cutting up at the hash marks, and an Islander came in and ripped the football away. Emerging with the football, Cedric Sullivan.
I mean, whoever ripped that ball away couldn't make the tackle, but he got his arms out there, got his hands on the ball enough to jar it loose.
We'll see who got at that. That's Ruling's right arm, and it was Sullivan. Sullivan stripped him, and that was actually Carter Lee on the return. Pardon me, Carter Lee loses the football.
And Sullivan was surrounded by a whole bunch of white helmets wearing blue jerseys and somehow came away with the ball after stripping it.
The ball is at the 25 with 8:28 remaining, and a touchdown would make this a 2-score lead for Grand Island.
What a crazy individual effort there from Cedric Sullivan, the senior, once again on special teams.
Grand Island a little slow getting the offense out. They have to burn their first time out of the second half. We'll take a break with them. Don't go anywhere. Exciting football on NCN.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, the owner of a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Lavander's body shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look as good as new.
Lavender. I don't gamble with your car repair.
There come the Grand Island Islanders, fresh off of a special teams turnover. Now they're setting up shop 5 yards away from the red zone. Bodie Albers, the quarterback, hands off. Caleb Richardson really having himself a fine fourth quarter. He's been wearing and wearing and wearing on that Bearcat defense. Didn't have a whole lot going in the first half. 5 carries, 20 yards, very pedestrian. But he's erupted in this second half.
And I got to go back to it, man. In special teams, they needed a calming force there, especially in a return game. And they put Mr. Richardson out there, and they were just fair catches. But that's a lot better than losing that yardage or having a fumble or something of that nature.
And they give it back to him. And he's still on his feet. Caleb Richardson battling for every yard he can find. Between the 12 and the 11, another 9 yards.
And once again, Jeff Tomlin riding the hot hand, not trying to be clever with the play calling or anything. He's just telling his coordinators up in the booth, get it to number 4. Get it to number 4.
5 carries for 43 yards, his last 5 carries, and that's not counting his 17-yard touchdown catch. Number 4 is moving the rock for GI. They have first down and 10 from the 12. Bearcat defense needs a stop or a turnover in a bad way. And they get the incompletion. Good coverage, Maddox Miller. He was all over. Is that Albers they're going to?
I think so. Another seam route, or might have been Hostetler.
Hostetler lined up from the tight end spot.
Boy, but Miller stayed with them stride for stride there. And when he came across with that arm, he timed it up perfectly not to warrant a pass interference call.
10 seconds to snap it for Grand Island. There's Richardson. He's weaving. Leaping on his back. The Bearcats desperately trying to get him to the turf. And a penalty flag comes out at the 6-yard line. After nearly a first down run, he picked up 8.
Yeah, kind of an awkward, supporting tackle there going over the top.
Baker Bertrand wanted to show off his vertical.
You had Hostetler with the late block. Curious to see what this flag's all about.
We're going to sort out this penalty flag.
Yeah.
Penalties have been a big part of this ball game. Each side more than 60 yards of penalties against them. And Grand Island has started to walk backwards.
Aiding the runner. Yep. I think they're looking at Hostetler. Okay. He kind of picked him up and carried him a little bit.
So what would have been 3rd and 2 is 2nd down and 9. 5-yard penalty.
And the way Grand Island's been driving or operating the football here on offense, they're changing gears. They're slowing their pace a little bit. Just gives you another thing, to account for as the defense.
That would have been 3rd and 4. 2nd and 9 now. And there's the give. Wheeler gets a try. And Wheeler wiggling to the 7.
Then as soon as I say that, they go with the quick snap. As soon as that ball was set and the umpire got out of the way, Wheeler was hitting looked like the A gap there, right up the gut.
3rd down and 4. The field goal would provide 7 points of separation. And a touchdown would do immense damage with the clock nearing 6 minutes to go in this ball game.
Then the clock would become a huge factor for the Bearcats.
And it looks like Grand Island moved early. The left side of the line might have gone a hair before the snap from Reed Kelly.
I think you're exactly right, but it also appeared to me that Kearney had that play sniffed out. So
Yeah, certainly did move early that left side, the guard and the tackle.
Grand Island might be fortunate to get another crack at it here because I felt like the Bearcats were kind of looking for that run.
3rd down and 9. The second penalty of this series on the Islanders. Looking left, looking towards Richardson. And just a little bit off. He peeled to the sideline just beyond the pylon. Albers thought he was going farther. On 4th down and 9, out comes the kicking unit and Thatcher Panowitz. He hit earlier today from 41 on the opposite side of the field. He did miss on a point after try.
I actually like that decision there from Albers. Threw that ball, where no defender was going to get close to it. And if his guy could somehow go out and make a play, so be it, good for us. But he didn't put the ball in harm's way here in the red zone.
A 27-yarder to make it a 7-point game is up. And it's good. Thatcher Panowitz nails his second of the game. And the separation, 26-19. Grand Island holding Kearney High at arm's length late in the 4th quarter.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Michael Shively, Andy Klassen, and our full cast of crew members putting in some hard hours here in the cold to bring you some thrilling Class A playoff football. The winner advances to the quarterfinals to face the victor between Millard West and Millard North. The loser, their season is over. An awkward kick, and trying for everything they can get in the return are the Bearcats.
Noctegal initially dropped this one or let it hit the turf, but then he was able to scoop it up and put a little return on. See him kind of limping a little bit as he's trying to find the sideline.
Just under 6 minutes remaining on the Tom Dinsdale scoreboard.
Hey, let's give a lot of credit to the Kearney Bearcat defense there for getting the stop, forcing the field goal attempt, which was converted, but that would have been so detrimental to their comeback hopes had Grand Island punched in that touchdown.
And a fumble. The exchange between Novacek and Molina. I think Novacek was trying to pull that football and might have got the left hip of his running back. Falls on it for a loss of 4 yards. The Bearcats, their offense drying up. They last scored with 6 minutes and 16 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. They led by 3 after 3 quarters. But the 4th quarter has belonged to Grand Island so far. Novacek with all day. Penalty flags come. Lee hauls it in. Carter Lee down the left sideline, but will it be coming back?
You had multiple flags coming in at the same time. That was a long, long play. Defenders had to stay with their guy for a long time.
And there's the hold call.
Yeah, right away. The white cap head referee with the holding motion.
Oh, and it was the hold behind the quarterback.
Yep.
You saw it with the defensive tackle rushing. Likely Reed Kelly, I think, who was getting in there.
And he knew it. He knew it right away.
It tugged him to the ground. That would have been a 70-yard touchdown score. Carter Lee's second 70-plus yarder of the game, but it's called back. And, man, there's been a lot of penalty markers. We haven't disagreed with any of them, but they have been impactful.
Yeah, very impactful, and this offense just keeps getting in their own way, keeps going backwards here, just not the way you want to be Oh, man, at any time of game, but especially as, the time's starting to become a factor here in this fourth quarter.
8 penalties against Kearney, 10 against Grand Island. Novacek on 2nd down and 24. Sees pressure and takes the sack. Back to the 17. Late pressure from Justice Hostetler. Gets home and sets up 3rd down and more than 30.
See, and that penalty sets up a very predictable play where you can play a soft bracketed coverage on the back end and then send a late blitz through Hostetler that gets home. I mean, perfect defensive play call, but you kind of were playing with a hand that you knew the cards that Kearney were dealt.
Now the official marking is 3rd down and 27 yards.
And look at how deep you have 4 defensive backs. Now 5 for Grand Island.
But they still bring 5 and get some pressure. Novacek rolls out right, throws late, it's caught. It's not enough for a 1st down. It's to the 37. That was a 20-yard completion.
Boy, and I know you feel like you need to go for it here coming off a completion, but I don't know if you need to be that desperate. There's still over 4 minutes to go here.
You have 3 timeouts if you're Kearney.
Yep, all 3 timeouts. You're really backed up.
Xander Ruling able to keep running his route, find his way open for 20, and the offense is out there for Kearney with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this game.
Oh, boy.
Down 7 at home, staring 4th down and 7 in the face. Novacek in trouble, holds, throws, caught Molina, and Molina gets the 1st down. The Bearcats keep the drive going to the 46. He got 9 yards, needed 7.
What a play by Novacek. This kid is a warrior. Let me tell you what. He paid the price, too, holding the ball as long as he could. Gets smacked, gets up and a little gingerly, but finding a guy late in the play. Molina, his go-to on the sideline.
All the pressure on the backs of the team in blue, but they come up big at home to keep their drive rolling.
What a huge play on 4th down.
Islanders still in the driver's seat, up 7. Quarterback draw. Well, there's nowhere to go, and that's thanks to Caden Roberson. He's been an absolute menace.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He has been a menace for this offensive line, a good offensive line for Kearney at that. But just sticks with the play, and then sticks to the quarterback. Novacek trying to utilize the quarterback run.
I have 5 negative rushes for Novacek this half. That defense has been feasting on the junior QB. 2nd and 14. Novacek keeps it alive. Still holding the football and hit out of bounds. Hit hard. Justice Hostetler combining with Riley Halling. Novacek ran about 50 yards to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And he another big shot at the end of this play. I mean, if I'm a Bearcat fan, I'm thinking, come on, man, just get out of bounds, save yourself a shot.
He actually lost 2 yards, so another sack. It's 3rd down and 16.
I mean, I just don't want to see my quarterback getting beat up like that.
He has had to leave this game. Appeared to be cramping type of scenarios, some other times where he's been limping. But the Warrior is out there to get this snap on the left hash mark on 3rd and 16. Gets rid of the football, and over the head of everybody, Isaiah Wyatt with good coverage, nobody open, and 4th and 16 with 3:09 left. If you're Coach Cool, do you dare go for this one?
I think you have to, right?
It's awful late. You'd have to hope for a 3 and out.
I thought
it'd be tough to survive a 1st down. You could maybe survive 1 1st down.
That last 4th down is where I thought you could still get away with a punt. Now you're in a little bit more predictable situation with 16 yards to go, but with just over 3 minutes left, I think now is the time you got to roll the dice with your offense.
It's 4th and 16 with 2 seconds on the play
Good
clock.
timeout.
Brandon Kuhl calls timeout. It's coming down to this. This is game. 4th down when we return to Kearney.
Central Platte Natural Resources District has sold 3.8 million conservation seedlings since 1973. The NRD is now taking orders for a variety of trees and shrubs for spring planting. Purchase bundles of 25 seedlings for only $1.25 per seedling, sold in bundles of 25. 50% cost share funds are available for trees and weed barrier when 200 plus trees are ordered. Call 308-385-6282 or visit cpnrd.org.
The last chance for Kearney High. Well, they could get a stop defensively and still have another try, but if it feels like their last offensive gasps are coming down to 4th down and 16. It would not be over on a turnover on downs, but their odds diminish greatly. Brandon Kuhl gathers his team. The 23rd year head man for the Bearcats dials up the play.
Well put. They wanted to get multiple receivers into the game. A 4-man set. Little confusion there. That was a good timeout. This is a play. You got to have everything right.
Trips to the wide side of the field. Novacek getting pressure, steps up. He's running out of time, and he's sacked. Justice Hostetler gets home, wraps up the quarterback, drops him, and Grand Island takes over on downs, up a touchdown with just 3 minutes left.
Once again, that's a coverage sack, Michael. And that was just a tremendous job by all 7 guys on the back end of that defense communicating with one another. I was watching all those multiple routes develop, and everything underneath, they just let go. In fact, they were like saying to Novacek, go ahead and check that one down. Check it down because we're not letting you get over the top. Multiple safeties were over the top, not allowing anything to get behind them.
The last 5 carries for Griffin Novacek were all sacks.
Yikes.
The top rusher for the Bearcats has been shut down since midway through the 3rd. Penalty flag again, handoff, Richardson. This offensive line for Grand Island has worn. We've mentioned that the running back Richardson has worn on the defense, but give credit to the offensive line, who might be guilty of the penalty here, but they have opened up some holes for the backs in the 4th quarter.
They really have, and you can even go back to the 1st quarter. Remember we saw a couple of those runs that looked like they were just bottled up, but then the late push added another 2, maybe 3 yards, to the end of the run.
But that was a false start on the offense. That is the 5th penalty of the half on Grand Island. 1st and 15, only 3 seconds off of the clock. It's still 1st down for GI. They are trying to take as much time as possible off of the clock. Expect 3 runs.
Typical 3-man set with the offset H-back.
Richardson crunched at the line of scrimmage. Oh, he stays on his feet. Precious ticks go off before Bertrand can finally drop him. No gain. Richardson's 13th carry.
If you're Kearney, you're just hoping that you can get into a punting situation and just have a couple of plays to work with on offense. Maybe get another punt return. We've seen the Bearcats special teams unit come up big for a couple of plays. That's what you're looking to do here.
But what they need right now is their defense. Richardson, a patient run, and he sees some space. He stays fighting. Caleb Richardson dragging defenders near the 1st down. He's right at the marker to the 26.
And once again, unfortunately, if you're a Kearney fan, we've seen this a couple times too, where multiple guys are trying to strip the ball away, and everyone forgets to someone's got to make the tackle, Michael. Somebody's got to bring the ball carrier down. I know you're kind of in desperate.
They're going to bring the
desperation mode.
Chains in. They want to measure this. Rare 2nd down measurement, but a 2nd down and 15 carry goes for about 15. If it's a 1st down, Grand Island can almost salt this thing away.
You really got to admire Caleb Richardson, just his style of running.
He's already calling for it. He has his hand out right now. You can't see it on your screen. He is calling for it, and he gets it. The monumental effort from the senior, who does not want to be playing his final football game, turns to the Kearney defense and lets them know that he just ran for 15 and a first down with 2:05 left.
Yeah, and I just think Kearney got caught trying to strip the ball, make a play. And that's what you got to do, right, in a moment like this. But someone's got to secure the tackle.
This game was 19-10. Kearney in front with 6 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter. But then Grand Island started to move the football. A Bodie Albers 4-yard touchdown run got them back on the board. Later it was Albers finding Richardson from 17 yards out. That got the lead to GI. The next possession, a 27-yard field goal from Thatcher Panowitz, expanded the advantage to 7 points. Then a defensive stop on 4th down gave the ball to Grand Island, and their offense is trying to end the game.
Did a really good job painting a picture of how Grand Island was able to pull this come from behind. Not a victory yet, right? But how they're able to put themselves in this position. It came from out of all phases, multiple players coming together, really on multiple different levels, right? You had running backs, you had linebackers, linemen, receivers coming up big for the Islanders.
A critical fumble. Carter Lee returning a kickoff was stripped. That was Cedric Sullivan who made that play for GI. Game-changing play. Islanders trying to overcome 2 special team fumbles of their own. Give it to the trusty back Richardson. Spins free from the first tackler and fights forward to the 24.
You see how that senior securing the ball, both arms over the top, running behind his pads. Quick timeout from Kearney.
The Bearcats, a team that said they were excited. They said, we want to play Grand Island. But you know what you get when you play Grand Island, a team that never surrenders.
Yeah, you're going to get 4 tough quarters, aren't you? And there's a couple of times where it looked like Kearney was going to get out and run away with this thing. They took advantage of some early turnovers in the second half, a late turnover in the first half to get a little freebie field goal, then received the ball and had a nice offensive drive to start off the third quarter. But, man, does Grand Island just keep after you.
Caleb Richardson, season high rushing yards, season high in carries. And for the senior, it comes against his team's rival on the road in the playoffs.
And a lot of that work has come in the third and fourth quarter in these critical moments.
1 timeout left for Kearney. Here's Richardson. Doesn't have much, just a yard. Will be 3rd down and 7 as the Bearcats call timeout. Kearney, a team folks didn't have the highest expectations for this season, replacing some talent that set records at the quarterback position, a dynamic wide receiver, some depth. But every year, Brandon Kuhl has a new crop of athletes that impress, and they did to the tune of 8-1 this season. Earned a 4 seed. Last couple of seasons, they dropped out in the first round, and they're on the verge of having another first-round exit after a sparkling regular season.
Yeah, and Kearney's played some really good teams and come out on the better end. That early game against Lincoln East, knocking them off 41-28. Then they showed some grit, beating Bellevue West 16-14. That's a big win. I don't care who's on the field for the Thunderbirds, but they've had a spectacular season up to this point. Calling that last time out, trying to extend it just a little bit here.
This is Grand Island playoff magic. It gets late in the season. Watch out for Jeff Tomlin's squad. Richardson, 2 yards. Kearney cannot stop the clock, and it's 4th down and about 5. GI does have 2 timeouts, and they might let this go down to 1 second, call timeout, and then consider if they're sending out their field goal kicker.
Yeah, would they want to attempt a field goal and put a little bit of a risk out there, or they always utilize their quarterback as a punter, where they just want to roll out Albers and just try to have him angle one at the pylon. You know, pin it within the 5, maybe even 10-yard line, play it a little safe, but roll out and try and angle something and burn a little extra clock, right?
What is your trust level in Thatcher Panowitz is the question. He's hit 2 field goals today. A field goal here would end the game, virtually. It would make it a 2-possession lead. He hit from, it was about 3 or 4 yards in front of this. This would be about a 35-yard try.
I know he's got the leg to do that, but I also think of that PAT.
Right, and it brings the field goal block into play.
Right.
And momentum swings associated with that, although field goal block, I believe, would be a dead ball. And if you're Grand Island, what do? Kick it or try to get the 5 yards and wind some more clock off? It's the offense.
So I think we're going to see a rugby style of punt here from Albers, or they might just...
Oh, wait a second. Albers is the holder, so he's out there and he's going to hold it. It is Panowitz. To provide his team a 2-possession lead. A 38-yard field goal try is up and good. Thatcher Panowitz hits his 3rd of the day. And Grand Island leads by 10 with 41 seconds left on the Tom Dinsdale scoreboard.
The biggest kick of Panowitz's life right there, nearly sealing the deal. And that's something Grand Island has always had over the recent years, a great kicker. And that can be such a difference maker, especially when you want to go on a playoff run, Michael, to have a kicker that can stick one through the uprights.
The Bearcats will get the football, but there's not much they can do. They need to score, get an onside, and score again. This game is turning up purple.
Oh, man, you just think of how much momentum Kearney had early in this second half, basically up to that 6:16 mark, right? They're up 19-10. Really shut down the Grand Island offense that second quarter and into the second half. And then a flip was just switched, and here comes Grand Island.
What an excellent football game. This is not disappointed at all.
We thought we might be in for a good one out here.
These teams last met in the playoffs in 2016, a 17-0 Kearney High win. Only 5 playoff meetings between these foes since 1975. A high hop, kickoff return opportunity.
Good return.
Good one, but it takes a lot of time for Caleb Larson to journey to the 47-yard line. 34 seconds for the Bearcats. They need points as soon as they can get them.
I think we're going to see the arm strength of Griffin Novacek kind of put on display here. 5 wide, no surprise.
And he throws behind. Grand Island last season went into the playoffs as an underdog after a 7-2 regular season, and they beat Omaha North. They beat Millard South. And they competed with Omaha West Side in the state semifinals. Kearney doesn't have that playoff experience, just first-round exits each of the last couple of seasons, and Grand Island comes in. This is when they excel.
It's almost like Grand Island is most comfortable being the underdog. You know, it's their role. That's what they want to play. That's how they play, with a chip on their shoulder. And
9 yards to Lee. His 4th grab did not stop the clock. It was not a first down. Novacek has it complete. Lee, or make that to Larson, and Larson to the 38-yard line.
Tried to get out of bounds.
That will still stop the clock to move the sticks. Grand Island lost 10-7 at home. That was on September 29th. But on October 27th, the Islanders come into Kearney and upset the Bearcats, their arch rival, on their home turf to earn a spot in the Class A quarterfinals. 29-19. After trailing 19-10, Grand Island scores the final 19 points of this game to spoil the Bearcats' home playoff game. We have interviews with the winning coach and the player of the game when we return to Foster Field in Kearney.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, the owner of a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Lavander's body shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look as good as new.
Lavender. I don't gamble with your car repair.
We do have a makerspace. We have dedicated spaces for different groups. So what we're looking at in this room is the adult reading room. It's not technically a room that closes, has a two-sided fireplace. It's designated as the only room where things need to be a little bit on the quiet side. We have a dedicated teen room and teen study room. And we also have the kinetic technology room, which is also known as a makerspace. We have meeting rooms, different varying sizes, and those turned out to be very popular. With the gig economy, people coming in and work, everything is high-tech. All the rooms have the latest technology to do Zoom calls and things like that.
Thank you for joining us on this installment of Do You Know Nebraska, which was made possible by Crete Area Medical Center, Colgan of Crete, Crete Ace Hardware, and Ken's U-Safe Pharmacy in Crete.
Join us next time as we explore the state we call home. Do You Know Nebraska can be viewed by visiting newschannelnebraska.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Aloe. You deserve the fiber things in life. Aloe Fiber. And by News Channel Nebraska. Follow at NCN Sports for highlights, interviews, rankings, and our broadcast schedule.
A new year. A fresh start. A resolution to grow more. Gain more. Give more. The process is the same. Plant, grow, harvest. But the way you do it is always evolving. And so are we. Aurora Cooperative. Grow, gain, give. Aurora and you.
Hey there, sports fans. Looking for a winning play to make your game day complete? Look no further than Speedy Mart, your family-owned neighborhood convenience store. Score big with the wide range of snacks, drinks, and fuel for the road that will keep the whole crew cheering. And here's the kicker. Our friendly atmosphere and convenient location make every visit a slam dunk. So rally the family and head to Speedy Mart for the ultimate game day experience.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only dual Toyota Honda dealer. By Summit Real Estate, let Summit Real Estate help you score big. And by Central Platte Natural Resource District since 1972.
Welcome back to Kearney, Nebraska, where Grand Island just knocked off the Bearcats, joined down on the field by head coach Jeff Tomlin. Coach, heck of a game, gritty style game. We thought we would see that. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I'm really proud of our kids and the way they responded. We had a lot of adversity. We had way too many penalties. Overcame a turnover, but we just kept hanging in there and figured out how to make plays. And then we started making stops on defense. And Thatcher Panowitz just came through clutch.
Take me back to the end of that first half. It didn't go your way, late turnover, so they get a late field goal going into halftime. Then another bad break for you, but you're able to bounce back. What led to you guys' resiliency there to counter that going down 19-10?
Well, I just think that's the way we train our kids, and that's what this group's all about, is responding instead of reacting. And I thought the fact that we held them to a field goal instead of allowing a touchdown right there before half was actually a big momentum builder for us, given the fact we had to overcome that turnover. But really super proud of our kids, super proud of our O-line, the way they battled and the way we got tough yards when they knew we had to run.
You mentioned the special teams unit multiple times throughout the week, talking to our crew. Boy, it came up in a big way for you here in Kearney. You talked about Panowitz. What led to that decision to go for the field goal rather than try and bleed some time or maybe even go for it on fourth down?
Well, Thatcher was hitting it well. Yeah. You know, he had a lot of confidence going in. He's been kicking the ball really well. Had a 43-yarder last week. And so we just have we have a lot of confidence in him, and we thought he'd drain it.
And what can you tell me about tonight's player of the game, Caleb Richardson? I mean, it looked like in the second half there was a moment where you said, feed the ball to number 4, get the ball to our senior.
Yeah, I think Caleb deserves a lot of credit because he's missed the last 4 games and overcome injury, and was thinking maybe he wouldn't be able to play again, and now he comes back and just helps our team out a ton. Great leader and a great performer.
And real quick, how sweet is it for you and your players to win a rivalry type of game like this? Neither one of you guys, Kearney or Grand Island, shies away from the rivalry factor, to come up to Kearney and pull off this type of victory.
It's a really good win for our program, good win for our kids. I'm proud of them. They had a great week of practice, as they always do, and they were on a mission when they got off the bus.
Coach, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's bring in our player of the game, Caleb Richardson. 91 rushing yards, 17 yards receiving. Oh, yeah, and that came on 1 reception for a touchdown. Yep. Got a little emotional there. What led to that little outburst there after the game?
Well, Friday before we played Kearney, I had hit my head and went out with a concussion. And so I was told that I might not be able to play football again. And just being out here playing that same team, the rivals that we've always grown up wanting to play, I just want to thank God and my linemen for how much work they've put in and how much they believe me and support they've put behind me. And that's what led me to be out there with those guys right now. Those are my brothers, and I'm so proud of them. I don't want to do it with any other team other than those guys.
It obviously means a little bit more to you being a senior. And Coach talked about it just a moment ago, how you've had some injuries not go your way, and then to see you bounce back, it must be a pretty special feeling right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I got a lot of family support, and I just want to do it for my brothers. This is our last year that we get to play together. Those are my favorite guys. Those are who we grew up with, and I want to be out there with them playing. And it brings a lot of energy to the team, and it's awesome to see how harder we play and how much more we want to play, and
you're talking about that energy. I thought there was some times there where momentum really shifted away from you guys, but you somehow were able to bounce back and get it on your sideline. What led to that? Because it looked like Kearney was in the driver's seat a couple of times.
Yeah, they were. I mean, that's at 5 a.m. workouts. When we're suffering together, we're suffering out there. We talk it through each other. We look each other in the eye. We're brothers. And that hard work, that blood, sweat, and tears that we've put in the past 4 years, and Coach T makes us work hard every day. I mean, there's no off days. Every day is harder and gets harder every day, and that's what led to it.
And talking about those 91 rushing yards, a lot of those yards came after contact, and your big fellas up front, you alluded to them earlier, but Robinson, all those guys, talk about their efforts here.
Oh, man, Joe, Reed, Robo, Roger, a bunch of those guys are out there. I mean, it's crazy how much they love our team and how much hard work. You see them blood, sweat, and tears every day, head-to-head contact, ready to go after play. I mean, those are the hardest workers out there. You see Robo and Reed playing both ways, each snap, and they're still out there giving me everything. So, I mean, I love those guys, man. It's awesome.
And we were curious up in the booth, what was said at halftime? Because, a lot of things went against you there. You got down by 9 points, and then things went against you again to start the second half, but you're able to bounce back. What adjustments were made, and what was said in your guys' huddle?
That we just got to respond. I mean, what the referees are calling, that's their calls. We can't fix that. We can only control ourselves. And so we just go out there play by play and worked out in our favor tonight.
Caleb, congratulations on a heck of a win on the road.
Thank you.
Michael, let's send it back up to you in the booth to wrap this one up.
Well, thank you very much, Andy, and what an awesome moment to hear Caleb Richardson, the standout senior running back. At one point, thought he might never be able to play football again. Comes back in time for the playoffs and rips off the best game that he could. Helps will his team to a comeback win. Let's see how it went down. Your top plays. Excited to see these on our cold evening here in Kearney. Top plays brought to you by Currency. Need financing for RVs, ATVs, or other expensive items? Currency is here to help. Visit gocurrency.com today. The 4-seed Kearney Bearcats hosting the 13-seed Grand Island Islanders. These teams are bitter rivals, and they're playing with everything on the line. Bodie Albers, the senior quarterback, opens up the scoring for the Islanders with a 1-yard quarterback sneak. Grand Island looking to grow its lead. Thatcher Panowitz from 41 yards out. This was after a penalty flag blew a play dead, and he missed it. The flag was waved off. He hit it the second time. And talking about hitting it, how about this? Carter Lee hauls in the pass from Griffin Novacek, 72 yards on the fake toss to the house. And Kearney starting to feel it at home. They get the offense churning. 3-point game. And they hand off. Here's Abel Molina, the senior, showcasing why he's one of the top offensive threats for the Bearcats. Breaks a tackle and saunters in for the score. A 22-yard run gives the lead to the Bearcats, who missed the point after and have a 3-point cushion. Now punting away and giving the football away, Grand Island. A fumble from Hunter Handquist recovered by the Bearcats. That sets up a field goal try at the end of the half, and it's converted. It goes through for Jake Krotzel, and it adds to the advantage, a 6-point cushion at half for Kearney. Third quarter action. And Grand Island's now down 9 after a Kearney field goal. They promptly respond with a terrific drive, finished by a Bodie Albers 4-yard touchdown run. That was a 76-yard scoring drive. Kearney still up 3. Fourth quarter, more than a few minutes in, about 6 minutes in. And how about the throw and catch? Albers to Richardson. And that's 17 yards for the score to Caleb Richardson. They keep feeding number 4. The running back sets up that field goal try. Thatcher Panowitz connects, and it's a 7-point lead. Now in the final minute, trying to put it away and make it a 10-point lead, and he does. A 36-yard field goal from Thatcher Panowitz. 3 on the day for the junior. And 29-19 is the final. Grand Island scores the last 19 points of the game to avenge an earlier loss to Kearney and knock their rivals out of the playoffs. GI improves to 6-4. Kearney ends its season at 8-2. Well, the Bearcats, what an excellent regular season campaign, and no doubting their hard-fought game here. Without Sawyer Schilke, their top defensive player, they left it all on the field, but it wasn't enough because Grand Island scores 19 unanswered over the final 18 minutes of this game to win it by 10. Their reward, number 5 Millard West, who took down number 12 Millard North tonight. Grand Island will be traveling to take on Millard West next week. The Islanders season continues, and you do not want to have to play to GI this time of year. Well, thanks so much to everybody who tuned in to watch this game. We had quite an enjoyable time bringing it for you, and we did that because of the support of our sponsors, our fantastic crew braving the elements, and all the support from everyone watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. It was a fantastic football game with the final score going 29-19 in favor of Grand Island. On behalf of Andy Klassen and our crew, led by Tyler Lechner and Danny Alvarado, I'm Michael Shifley. Good night from Kearney. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.